Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Um, Good morning, everyone. My name is Miranda Morales. I am the District Director for Coconino County Supervisor Lena Fowler. Hushkahan Zohednishla, Kis Ani, Bearstrap Bushishteen, Na Kedina Edeshache, Na Keth Bahedeshanella. And thank you. Supervisor Fowler asked that I attend the meeting today on her behalf. And she sends her regards. She's dealing with a personal matter today. And so we've been working on a very important project, and so we wanted to just share and help you and have you help us spread the word. Um, a couple months ago, well, it's not a couple months, but we've been dealing a lot with unemployment claims since the pandemic has started, just getting people enrolled in unemployment and then the pandemic unemployment assistance program. And we had done virtual webinars during the pandemic. And then we also lightly opened up our office to help those that did not have technology to apply online. And so to fax in their applications and their weekly claims. Now that that kind of tapered off, what we're finding out, and we got our first case back in February, um, DES has started notifying citizens. We're told that it's approximately about 30,000 Arizona citizens that are getting notice of overpayment. And these overpayment notices come in by the mail, and it looks like a legal action. It comes in kind of like a court summons, and it's very scary when you get this because it's legal language, and it kind of implicates you as committing fraud, and why DES is saying that you potentially committed fraud. You got an overpayment of X amount of dollars. It just depends on what was given out, and that you need to attend their DES court. And so we didn't hear about it right away, but apparently this was sent out in February. We had some of our constituents start to go to court and weren't sure what was going on, and the whole process started to sound very unfair, very strict, and there was a lot of um, unanswered questions about why they were getting it in the first place. And so we had identified four clients, and they self-identified. We don't know how many more is out there, but we know of four through our office. Congressman Tom O'Halloran and Senator Kelly also have a handful of clients in their office as well. But basically, these people are being asked to pay back anywhere from $16,000 to $30,000, and they're going to court unknowing why they're being having to go to court, and then the due process is not clear. And so now they're determined that they have an overpayment, and tax returns are being garnished, and incomes being garnished. So um, because of this, we created a partnership with our state senator Teresa Hatafli, our representative from the House, Jasmine Blackwater Nigrin. They're the chairs of this, and they went ahead and contacted our office with Senator Kelly and Congressman O'Halloran staff, and we met. And we actually had a meeting with DES, and we put all our concerns to them, and to ask them why this was coming about. And it also kind of feels like they're targeting people of color, people of minorities, and people that are living in rural areas. Um, of course, they shared that that wasn't the case. The 30,000 was selected at random, and that they were just trying to make sure these claims were not fraud related. But because there's a lot of, because of their approach, we're trying to get them to calm it down a bit. There's no need to have strict language. There's no need to accuse people of fraud. But if they're just making sure that these are legit claims, then they need to disclose that and pretty much not scare people. So we've been meeting with them, and the reason why we wanted to share this information is we're told that another batch of notices are going to go out, and our offices, all of our state offices, Senator Atothley, Blackwater, Nigrin, Kelly, and O'Halloran, and Supervisor Fowler, we can be a resource for those that have gotten those claims. We can assist them on what to do and how to go about it. We're working on getting the first batch of claims waived for the individuals that have self-identified. We talked to the DES director. He's willing to do some waivers. And so we just need to make sure we submit their names and know and identify who has received these notices. I do know Senator Atothley has done a Facebook ad. We're working on language in a letter format so that we can send to all of our constituents. And then I believe Supervisor Fowler and Teresa are also going to be working on a Facebook event, a live event, so that we can try to reach as many of our citizens as possible. But if you know anyone at your local level that is dealing with this, please contact our office or Lena. I know she shares her cell phone. You can text her and share her number as well. But just so that you have in your notes, our Tuba City office phone number is 928-606-766. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm giving you my cell phone. Our Tuba City office is 928-283-4518. You can also contact me on my cell, and that's 928-606-7663. And again, Supervisor Fowler's cell is 928-606-4733. And you can just refer them to us, and we're basically gathering evidence. Each case seems to be different. Each reasoning seems to be different. So the more clients that we get, the stronger our case. So we just met with Senator Atothley this past Thursday in Phoenix. And so she has her legal team. We're also working with our county attorney and to address this unemployment issue. And it's specifically with, they call it PUA, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistant portion of it. Not necessarily the regular one, but the one where it was pandemic related. And so that's what we wanted to share with you today. Thank you.
Thank you for your report, Ms. Morales. Yeah, that I mean, if you get an Arizona state tax return for 16 or 30 grand, man, that's a lot of money to pay back. I'm sure a middle class or a lower people that are working, they don't have that kind of money laying around to pay back.
And they don't. And we were really, Supervisor Fowler is just really concerned because it also hurts your mental health. You know, that's a significant amount of money, and to have that weight, and from what it sounds like, it's they're pointing fingers all over the place. They're saying that it's DOR, a Department of Labor, that's making it sound scary. They have to use this type of language, and we're saying that, you know, when people get a court summons, they go, we're getting calls about, you know, what if I get arrested? What if I go to this court date and I'm found guilty? What happens then? Do I go to jail? But DES court is not a criminal court, and so the answer is no. But the way that it comes in, it's very legal and it's very scary. And it even says in these letters that if you're found of fraud, they charge you 15% of whatever you owe. And so it's a huge number. So if you hear any of that, please give them our contact information.
This is Jean Holiday, Vice President.
Yeah.
Can you repeat the phone number again, please?
Yes, our main Tuba City office is going to be 928-283-4518. Supervisor Lena Fowler's cell phone is 928-606-4733. I recommend shooting her a text and then telling your name and your phone number that you're calling from. We get a lot of phone calls and sometimes we don't know if it's spam or not. So that's the best approach. And then my cell phone is 928-606-7663.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Natani, for Ms. Morales?
Good morning, Shita. This is Council Delegate Herman Daniels.
Oh, Shada, you have the floor.
Kwato eke nana kwato. Natani Senigi kwato, the NOST Regional Chapter Leadership Senigi kwato. Tana nale. Zura be dan hit ojigi da kwato. Ado nana kwato. Kwato ni hitla hazme kwato shama kwato Ms. Morales. Thank you. Thank you for the report and also for the update on what's happening out there. I know that Supervisor Fowler, she Coconino County, Ajit Naket, Enigi. I don't know, we have other counties like Navajo County, Apache County, and in Utah, San Juan County. Okay, that doesn't matter. The counties, the Gia, if a person lives on the Utah side, what's the San Juan County, or Navajo County, or Apache County, who's helping them on that side, or does Supervisor Fowler is at Ecuador cover Mr. Chair, I'm very thankful for what our children are doing out there for our Navajo people. So that be God kitchen that every day na issues concerns get the man Lindy I got that just like with this then his whole negi what does not I see it is and what chair alluded to not everybody has that kind of money to pay back. So Mr. Chair, I don't know what about other people living in other counties, Navajo County, Apache County, San Juan County, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Chair, this is Miranda. I would like to make a comment. Supervisor Fowler self-proclaims that she works across all borders. And so we assist the whole state of Arizona. And I know she wants to meet with her colleagues in the other counties to let them know about this as well. And then again, our state representatives, Jasmine Nygren and our Senator Teresa Totley are also part of this. We haven't come up with an official name, so we just meet and really make the state kind of check their work on what they're doing. And we just barely started this about 2 weeks ago We had one individual back in February, but we didn't find out until last month. They were part of the first batch that got out, but we work all across the lines, and we even help in other states. I know during the pandemic, we had Navajos, specifically welders and boilermakers that work in other states, and they were having trouble accessing that unemployment from Oklahoma specifically is what we worked on. So even with other states, she has colleagues that she partners with at the national level. So when we say we work across borders, we really do. And if we don't, we'll figure it out. So thank you.
Mhm. Thank you, Ms. Morales. Adet Shinatani, any other question? Yeah, Russell Smallcannon, he texts me, he's trying to get on. He's having issues with the caller number too.
Mr. Chair, this is Daniel again.
Oh, Shita, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Kudo. Adonana Kudo Shuma Kudo. Yeah, that answered my question, Kudo.
Mhm.
And
Russell's
appreciate
here. That's you.
what you guys are doing, Kudo. I see back here, Kudo back here, and Kudo. Adonana Kudo. The day ben his phone, Maggie. Kissing by not waiting at all. Let's Kudo at the chapter level.
Mhm.
When we have chapter meetings or planning meetings, what that tells you that by now he's not all that could have not the Niki could have not the fishing could have the way down. His man, the Niki, yes, not met all that could have. They get all about video less could have. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Shita.
Here.
Yes, Madam Vice President, you have the floor.
Hi, Miranda. This is Marcia Reyes, Toronto Community Governance Vice President. Where are you referring the people to that are getting letters that state that they overpaid? Is there a place we can send them, or do we tell them to hang on to it? What are the steps that we should give them?
So I would recommend that they contact us first, because we need to see what exactly they're dealing with. And then from there, we do ask for documents. Usually it's the letters, the summons that they received. If they've already been to court, because you can appeal it up to 3 times. And so we would just need your court summons, if a decision was made or what the explanation was. A lot of times the initial summons that you get allows you to apply online with they give you an opportunity to submit a paragraph of why you think you're eligible for PUA. And sometimes those cases are settled within that paragraph. But if they feel like it's not a correct explanation, then they schedule you a court hearing to see a judge. And so what we're saying that it's not fair, because a lot of our citizens, English is their secondary language as one. And then 2, a lot of our people do not have technology to submit a response online. And so then it goes unanswered. And you only are allowed 500 characters in your paragraph. And so how do you summarize it adequately so that you don't get fined as fraud? So we can assist at any level. So if they are barely getting a notice and need to respond, we can work with them on making that response, either coming to our office or visiting them. And then if they're already done an appeal and are wanting to do a waiver, we're taking those names and we're making a list to submit it to the DES director so that he can do an internal waiver of these fees. So it just depends on where the case is at.
One more question I have, if I may, Chair.
Yes, you have the floor, Madam Vice President.
You had stated, Miranda, that there was 30,000 that was mailed out and another 30,000 all selected at random. Are they going to be sending out that amount every month for a period of time? Or to me, that doesn't sound like it's going to be random. Eventually, it's going to cover everybody.
So they haven't sent out round 2. And so what we're asking, and like I had mentioned, it feels like people of color are being targeted. So Senator Atofley has asked for an investigative report by zip codes to see how many notices went out and to what zip code. And then and then once they answer to that, we're working also on a cease and desist, and then asking them to not send out anymore until they fix their language and fix why they're sending this out in the first place. I don't know if anyone's applied for unemployment, but for unemployment, you have to send in weekly claims to say that you're actively searching for a job and you haven't been successful, and that gives you benefits for the next week. And so for people to be targeted to say that they've been submitting weekly claims fraud like every week and it's been fraud, I mean, that there's no justification in that. And so we're asking them to do a review and not to be so random, and to actually look at cases that really highlight fraud and not just randomly select people to come forward.
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Morales.
Chair, I had a question.
Okay, Mr. Curley, you have the floor.
So I'm looking at the Coconino County's Facebook page, and along with all the other pages that are sponsored by Coconino County, and I'm not seeing any information regarding this. Is this publicized? Are you guys providing this information to everybody so that they can be aware of these issues?
We're actually working on it. We were meeting collectively. We thought when we asked for a meeting with Senator Atofley, we thought we were just coming forward with 4 cases. And then when she got all of the congressional offices together, we all found out we all had some in each of these offices. So we have like probably about 10 people that we have collectively. And so on our meeting on Thursday, we talked about a game plan. And so Tuesday, they were actually thinking about doing a press release today, or yesterday, but because it's the holiday, they recommended we do it on Tuesday so that people have it at the forefront after coming out of a holiday of this news. So they're going to do a joint press release. And then we're going to also have it run in the Navajo Times, and then also in the Arizona, we're trying to get it in the Arizona Republic. So we are working on a media plan to get this out. But because we're kind of on that media timeline, and this meeting was this weekend, Supervisor Fowler said it was okay to share.
Thank you.
Any other question? Shanatani. I believe we have a quorum now. Thank you, Ms. Morales, for your report. And yeah, pass on the word to Supervisor Fowler that we all said hello. And I know she's always busy. I think out of the supervisors, I know that she's fully dedicated and always helping Coconino County. And she's probably the most, for me anyhow, she's probably the busiest supervisor that I know.
Thank you. I will share those words with her.
Okay.
Have a good meeting all.
Alrighty, thank you. I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 10:04.
So this is Chancey Notice Team just reporting in.
Oh, hello, Mr. Noticing.
Hello. Hello.
Welcome to the meeting. Mr. Secretary, can you do the roll call, please?
Sure can. Honorable Herman Daniels.
Present.
Thank you. Now just on chapter, Patricia Blackhorn. Darlene Pino.
I'm present.
Thank you. Darlene Pino. Ella J. Badani.
Present,
Thank you.
Ella.
Russell Small Canyon. Thank you, Ella.
Here.
Thank you. Moving on to Oljeto chapter, Willis Begay.
Present.
Thank you. Jean Holiday.
Present.
Thank you. Marietta Bedoni. Benedict Daniels. Moving on to Shanto Community Governance, Roland Small Canyon.
Here.
Marcia Gray Eyes. Thank you.
Here.
Thank you. Robert K. Black Jr.
Here.
Thank you. Brittany Hunt. Okay, moving on to Tsapikin chapter, Geraldine Chi. Chancey Notestein. Dellard Curley is here. Happy J. Begay.
Hello, this is Chance Nostin. I'm present.
Thank you, Chancey. With that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 present.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. That 11 present, that constitutes a quorum. So we'll move on down to invocation. Any volunteers to do the invocation?
I'm not volunteering, but I'm just letting you guys know that I'm back on the line. I had got kicked off. This is Marietta.
Okay, welcome back. Yeah.
With that, we have 12.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any volunteers for invocation?
Mr. Chair, this is Delegate Daniel.
Oh,
I
Shita.
can provide.
Okay. You have the floor. Thank you, Shita.
Yes, thank you very much, Koto. Not Senegi Koto. Not on or say Tosha Toto Ken. What I could not Ani had not so. Kanal, I don't the Koto Bevenant. I don't the staff at all. Washing Koto a Toto Zanigi Betis, Neti Benebi Koto. Washing Yadi, Nito Nana Koto. You get Toto Zanshita had not so. I don't know here or Lata. Fishing Bay. He got not 8 on the Benebi Koto. Pajondole, hon som man har Pajondole, hon Johna Ishika Aronan Quay a hon. Action for love way. Nihitagi honey long. Aronan Kodo, Nihinadi, Nekodo. He hasn't eat Lahon, Ben Kehonason. Nihitsuni Lahon, Ben Kehonason hon. Aronan hon. A pendan long a Kodo. Santin a hon Benat. Ben he can out and slab in the horn, on that a or Arden the Nana horn. Lego, but and down the hustling horn, AIC here horn. Arunana horse, Manahas San horn. Later and long a Hanani in the horns is Kai. Arunana, which one which later in nations is Kai. AIC here horn. Arunana horn. Hard saying the whole tea on the door, he not at the whole tea the honor. The get the nether saying who the had how the lad and the honor, the G down honor. Here, at the house, Argo, what has there's ego honor. oda hona dat ekada chap osa dat echilisa at este hada hodo san la hona aro nana hona thoda dan de ro thonda hazge teta na tete chi oda hada hodo sa ola si jona go I hona ni hoda end la hona ya ki ya hona ligena na seni nana hona aro nana hona di hona nana is na heki hona Hashin for I hona, a hit na net or nana hona, Sabe dan hadit I had the hona she, that she hona, a card that was neto hona, a not that he was neto nan hona. Then other in me storeless, what ashi hona, nana she is negi hona, ben is down my sawdoless hona, stinging on a slimy hona. Yat echo yat here, sad yat at egi hona, sad hon. Dat het zelige hon, ashkena dat sad hon, sabe nas door dat ik hona. Bij jezelf kitole, bij die staan maar zo dus gewoon, zodat je dan steen gewoon. Aro ja het echt een ziek kist dus gewoon. Ja het echt wat zo hoog kost gewoon. Bij die staan maar zo dus gewoon. Aro na gewoon. Ons voor de beneden nee gewoon. Als voor beneden niet dus gewoon. Niet eens gaat aan de gewoon. Gewoon niet gaat goed doen de gewoon. Na het aan is kaas aro na. Wal jet ho, chat ho dat ik Training die gaat zoge hona. Hona de koya dat ik hona. Twitter fan in de haal praat hona. Maar gaan we staan nog zo hona. Arona naar het ja zo hona. De hona gaan we staan nog zo. Als we behandelen die hona. Zo ik hona als in zo het is een hot de hona. Arona geef het ga hona niet de hona. Ik heb daar nog zo hona beetje aangoed hona. Wat hij hona. Nee, kan toch niet binnen bij hona. Dat is een beetje niet door hona. One had hona. Als je zo het is gewoon gaat het en zo. Dan ben je erbij gaat het beide dan ben je door de hond beide het en ik hona. De hona. Je nog nada klaar door hona. Dat hij nou wat hona en je nog gewoon ton nada klaar door hona. Kon nada dit door hona. Als van je laat dan eens door hona. Ze ja dat gewoon toch dat. Je laat dan eens hona. Naga de nog dan hon se die na seni hona aro na hon fan den ik pa ka ho by ni den hona ko da krishna khay aro ke na has ke na hona on fan den ik da hona ni ke zo ho da do sis na hona ni na da sti de hona gen da de hona lago I hona ni ke zo ho da do sis na hona be khada ti ni to be chan da ti le to hona ni ke na glossen den ik di hona be ti an da do le Mche zen da dort le hona. Khad se na da ma hom che zen le ma khan na da hito khal to hona. Hom sna pa de mi kha to le hona. Aro na no hona. Ma khal chen dan da hona al hon khabat da hona so hona. Aro na hik ein da hona. Azel in de sin da had no dan da hona. Ha isi ke adan da ha kha. Hon adi chen ba da di to do le adi chen khan na da hito kha to. Ne na verslanda in me kato de hona aro na hona mi het the last for the hona de hon khabsta hona so hona hona de sita banana se de aro la honi khada khen la hona but ha jo pa de kato last for ha one day the dan la hona peso day the dan la hona as well also chodoga dan ro the hona da khadan la hona is last for banana se de hona de Cause the need for Ben Habashan or Sohona, so as for Hona, hit Habashan Hona, Adam his allowed the Hona, which banana should dish Hona. Nahada Halia Hona, the Honhaba, Nahaba the Hasian, Habashan, Habasahada, the by Hona, should again on the same Hon hit there. Naini can the Hona, Adonan Hona. Nash the hona and the home I think for a bahan the hona. You hit nash mehi hona. No was in that dot let on hard she the hot in the hard she ban had under the hona. Arjun Hahunda dot let on. Naziat ehona and nade me cattle lesson he hona. Adonan home. Yat ehona. Yenan city next to hona. Largely but what they slant the horn, largely but not they slant the hona in the hard dot she hona. Aro asko sabasa na so hon na anin den gi khana na den gi aro na hon pebenan dan a wi jebenan se de sabasa na so hon na sabasa na so باشن هون فو كبرنا لكذا سيد حل هون إيرون خبادة سيا هون خبصة هون الساعة ويتر أنا هون سندي هداي هون فضلني هون بنيل نيد ولا هون أذهان فوق هون هذا حسيان هون سريع نفسين هون تيرن هي جو زون ولا هون هاد شندتا نات نهو كونسني سني عشني ده فضلني جو زون ولا وجونا هسلين. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, start كده صرزن خب بإنسني أراد ابن نشد ثاني تلين دولار كده نهتاد أو أشي بيك ثاني نجي إدي ده ديش جن هون نيلتو نخيد النبا ده تنجي نخرط الله هون تنهيزنل أراد إبادة إيسيت نخيد كيدو do ich den Nebho betlange gane kanit in studo sani do chendo ato chido ida isibadit. Thank you for your time. I should not on it. Even though on this that email navajochapters.org is there was no communication and as ended we all came through and thank you for attending this meeting. July 2nd, 2022. Yeah, it's just be sanitani did it. Sashinki that those lado nihe beyashin it's Tarato Gizdo, Bitske, the Bayers that would set the Hawk Gizdo. Hina nishidasa. I saw Nanskari or Chala at that kitchen. Kashata Nuja Hozishka, the Penatan, the Karako. I don't know about Kashiyaja, good at the legit hall, Gisto, Choha, Nita, Ajit Hoshish. So, here for attending today's NOST meeting, regional council meeting. Called what I down Hatzabins and the next item on the agenda is review and adopt the agenda. Ekodo may we have a motion to adopt the agenda? Or
Motion, this is Marietta Badoni.
I'll do the second, Patricia Blackhorn.
okay. Mr. Curley, can you read we have a motion and a second. So Mr. Curley, can you read the agenda into the record, please?
Yes, we'll go ahead and do that right now. Good morning. NOST Regional Council meeting Saturday, July 2nd, 2022 at 9 a.m. Meeting agenda, Zoom info is provided. 1, meeting call to order. 2, roll call. 3, invocation. 4, review and adopt of the agenda. Number 5, approval of the April 2nd, 2022 meeting. Announcements. A, to be determined district grazing committee meeting and Saturday, September 17, 2022 at 9 a.m., which is the Western Navajo Agency Council meeting hosted at the Shanto Community Governance. B, to be determined, not just on chapter planning meeting, not just on chapter regular meeting, Oljetu planning meeting, and Oljetu regular meeting, Shanto Community Governance Executive Planning Board, and Shanto Community Governance Council. And Tuesday, July 5th, 2022 at 10 a.m. Daylight Savings Time, it's Apikin Chapter Planning Meeting. To be determined, it's Apikin Chapter Regular Meeting. Number 7, reports, government leadership. Mr. Jonathan Nez, Navajo President, Mr. Myron Lizer, Navajo Nation Vice President, Mr. Seth Damon, on 24th Navajo Nation Council Speaker. D, Mr. Herman Daniels, Navajo Nation Council. Ms. Fern Benali, Navajo County Supervisor, District 1 Supervisor. F, Lena Fowler, Coconino County District 5 Supervisor. 8, reports, NOST report, chapter presidents. Patricia Blackhorn on chapter. B, Willis B. Gay, Ojato chapter. C, Roland Small Canyon, Chonto Governance, Community Governance. D, Geraldine Chi, Zapikin chapter. Number 9, presentation and presenters. A, Region ARPA Project Update, Division of Community Development by Dr. Pearl Yellerman, Division Director. B, BIM Amendment for AFOG Certified Update, Division of Community Development, Director Dr. Pearl Yellerman, Division Director. C, Region Road Project Updates, Navajo Department of Transportation, Mr. Garrett Silversmith, Division Director. And D, Public Safety Region Update, Navajo Division of Public Safety, Jesse Delmar, Division Director. 10, discussion, issues, and concerns. A, Roland Small Canyon, NOST Region Plan of Operation. B is to be determined. Resolutions 1 and 2 are to be determined. And number 12 is next NOST Regional Council meeting, FY 2023. October 1st, 2022, hosted by NOST on chapter. 13 is adjournment. Mr. Chair, the minutes have been read for the record.
Okay. Thank you, Shta, for reading the agenda into the record. Hello, John Haldeshay. Are there any questions, comments, additions, or deletions?
This is Marietta Bedoni.
Yes, you have the floor, Shitsu.
Ojato chapter meeting date, July 9th at 9 o'clock is the planning meeting. And then July 23rd at 9 o'clock is the regular chapter meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any more information? Motion party, with the new addition to the agenda, I mean, more information for the meetings. If you're okay with that, then
I'm okay with Marietta.
okay, thank you. Ms. Blackhorn, are you okay with it?
I'm okay with it, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. With that, colleagues, we will put the motion to a vote. Mr. Secretary, can you do a roll call vote, please?
Sure can. Motion to approve with the following change, with that change of the agenda. Herman Daniels, how do you vote?
Agree.
Thank you. Patricia Blackhorn, how do you vote?
I vote green. Thank you.
Thank you. Ella J. Bedoni, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Russell Small Canyon, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Willis B. Gay, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Jean Holiday, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Marietta Bedoni, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Roland Small Canyon is
Voting green.
no vote.
Oh,
Marshall Gray Eyes, how do you vote? Robert Black, how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you. Chancey Notestein, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Thank you very much. Bellard Curley, I will vote in favor. See, with that, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in favor with 1 abstention.
Okay.
Chair.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the motion carries. With that, where were we? Moving on to number 5, approval of April's 2, 2022 meeting minutes.
Motion, Robert.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor.
Second, Marietta.
Okay. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Any questions or comments?
I hope everybody had it, Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Just
you have
to-
the floor, Mr. Curley.
Thank you. Just wanted to let you guys know, I hope you guys all had a chance to review that. I did send out the meeting minutes, I think 4 or 5 days after the last meeting. So, but for those that are on the Zoom meeting, I have it, should have it displayed on the screen. So sorry about that, but it's a total of 15 pages. And so I can email this out to everybody that has emailed me, and I can provide that to you guys for your record.
Okay, so to post it,
Okay, Jared,
Yes.
display that for the record.
Okay. Thank you.
Meeting minutes, previous meeting minutes.
So, quotation at Ani Hadod meeting minutes, surely Hadod, I believe this was emailed a while back to everyone. So you had time to read it and I don't to show Nanulya. So with that, let's put the motion to vote. Mr. Curley, can you do a roll call vote, please?
Sure can. Motioning to approve the last meeting minutes, Mr. Herman Daniels, Honorable Herman Daniels, how do you vote? Thank you. Patricia Blackhorn, how do you vote? Darlene Pino, how do you vote? Oh, I'm sorry. Ella J. Badani, how do you vote?
Badani, in favor, I'm sorry.
Thank you very
In
much.
favor.
Thank you. Russell Small Canyon, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you very much. Willis Begay, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you very much. Jean Holiday, how do you vote?
I'm in favor.
Thank you very much. Marietta Bedoni, how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you very much. Roland Smallcan is chair. Marcia Gray Eyes, how do you vote? Okay. Robert Black, how do you vote?
I vote Dortej.
Thank you very much. Chancey Notestein, how do you vote?
Yes, Dortej.
Thank you very much. I will vote in favor. With that, looks like we go back up. Patricia Blackhorn, how do you vote? Okay. With that, total in favor is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 in favor with 2 abstentions.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Come moving on down to the next item on the agenda. Let's see, what do we have? Announcements. Mr. Curley, do we have the most updated version of the calendar or the announcements? Oh, yes, we do. Okay, the announcements was read into the record and with the revisions. And so with that, I want to leave that the way it is, and then we'll jump down to item 7. Reports, government leadership. They please email written report to NOST secretary. That I believe that Mr. Curley, did you receive some written reports?
Mr. Chair, negative. I have not received any written reports. The only reports that I have was from the president.
Okay, thank you. So Mr. Jonathan Nez, Navajo Nation President. Shajet, are you with us? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Again, usually when he calls in, we give him the floor since he's the Navajo Nation President. Later on, he might call in, so I'll give him time to speak. And moving down to B, Mr. Myron Lizer, nomination Vice President. Are you with us? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. We'll give the floor to Mr. Lizer when he calls in, Mr. Vice President. Next, C, Mr. Seth Damon, 24th Navajo Nation Council Speaker. Are you with us, sir? Any representative from the Speaker's office? Let's move down to D, Mr. Herman Daniels Jr., Navajo Nation Council. Shita, you have the floor.
Good morning. Da sa twi pato yeah. Adonana pato not Senegi pato no regional leaders Senegi pato here. Sana Hanegi pato naka pato sahi they was you don't on count of the Hidonana pato Celia just not for pato. Naka cake pato Nelo pato. Pato ta in Nishiko. Adonana pato teacher nana pato. Not if on Hanazan of Senegi. Adonana pato Jetro. Hanazmela. Bevenant Ado, I believe there's 2 grazing officials on board on the line. Adonana pato Shantro Hanazmela. Bevenant Adon de pato Tlapi Ken. Edo pato Hanazmelo Nana pato Bevenant Ado. Yeah, pato. I can't think with all. I didn't with all. The honey, Miss Quito, with all the small canyon, so Quito, she's on the line, so Quito. If she to hand for the same sense, Shabawi does ask Quito, ask from the Quito. Go Quito, the honey, so a one vow a horn, the circle. I call a sagi a hut and Quito, based on another message. I didn't the Quito, Quito, Shigi Quito, every day, a sagi eat Quito. I see you go to other Penades in the store, other labels, and none was the Quado a Penades in the circle. I go AIC here and Quado. A kiss not unnatural Gehegi Quado age or idiot Hahan no Quado. What I see Adole Quado, but I wait, I see not what I need to go. I go the right down. Other quick say a Hanegi and get your slate or let's be Penny Bigger. I don't know what Sun House I think yeah. I don't know Quaggy and the Quado or you know, for the Zumbi. Quado the Behas said that Quado you them or you shadow or your papa the Bahas these are Quadona they did hit Rana Snake 8 and the Oya and hit Rana Snake Quado. I call the rate number of new cases every day to in the rates around Sunday. Adehan de Nagada, Dr. Jill Jim, Ajakodo, Ajuda in Nishiki, under the Department of Health, Ajuda in Nishiki, Division of Health. I see Quado, Ada, yeah, they got Ande. Adonana Quado Yego, Ada Hoshiato Quado, because she don't get there, that is Bado, Adonana Quado. As part is Slade. Then it was on a daggy, and the electronic kissiki, Ada. And the IT beta, who is young, the big alcohol. How to say, could make it easy, Yego, get the nose, things with a peanut snaky. How to say that I don't think so. I don't know what that is, do so what Ada, what as to go say, I about on sensing what Anako, and that had doggy, could a be naked, like Quaggy. Quaggy is the stone on the way down. Not as the I see that is still the Lesico, or even Nachico Codo, Yego Codo, a data Hosia Codo, I don't know, Twitter fun in the house, pound the Codo, Ishi Codo, Ada, ban nada trashing I John don't let it go John don't let it go ko area da thoda da HEN da ye go be da hasian ko do adona ko do an hen nada is josako ngai to certain areas aya da sa nada hasian ko sa it and the host say ko ngai da Shanto area ngai da this nez that joy that they nada hasian not as the whole bed and on that nada is just ko adona or je thodo hot en gaidam say has other nas agi an nada hito an hen nada is just so a conagay wish gonna gate towards them into Utah they San Juan County it at the I see that the horse say ko ton lenigi I see up the ye ajago so that echo that the certain areas they yeah can nada is just ko ko adona sa it and Covete the hoye ko nal blush lenigi ko chill it's a iten laid on a toda iten lenko so that the cat and lenko ako ye ko it is and lenagate and hot lande nagating lenigi or yet on that about the cat on an ko the chedek ede ka ko aya abahade because on a oversight need lenigi resources and development committee Donana Kodo Kaya Hot Hegida just Kadich or Yale Hello da ko Eben National Kodona Redam Navajo ranchers than Lenigi permit holders the late Halonic Donna the big Gashi the better Ixing Kodo Nan Tiensin over everything at hit over baby or Debiga so I Baba Hanate Konagate during our resources and development committee meetings. Ko John Lee Lada na Hayata Nagay John Collier Jaitan Hashing the Ayego Bendas Nishakon Yego Ayego Kodo Ayaya do Yat Ego Ita Kodon Raydam reduction no that the word reduction hit Ayego use either Kodon resources and development committee so the way the downsides at Nenegi at Kodo so see at esto lesti no de by yes ko kodona gaita I see penani kendo I see baby yes ki debiga so I kodoi papa hanate kodona gaita later halonigi so tell the hallo go ito itan na closida ya honsil tell hallo da I see na gaita the bedan da kedo da bekasida de kase ho let then although taught then so it was a scene to yeah not so at a benan see but the hanet bloody no the iba yield he could arona kodona gaidam but apa hanas the kodona gaidam other queen there that down the during resources and development committee meetings ko ina gaidam took a scene the halonago just how that day is arona saho Sako hata pin ko so ya ho hada ba hait ada adalia se bohanet sa de so pa hanas se ko ti hodina da hada no tin se so ita de sno corona gaita na kinte zere da sun ti hodina da hada no tin se so ko so every year on that na gai August the monsoon season na atleko na gai 1 week da has tin se ko ko hat side o thogi o nad has got all this the San Juan River go ya thogi o nad has got all this the dam and lake power bit nad has got on again the go ya Grand Canyon go na night go ya nad and clean all this I don't know na go ya the grana dona na kodo na stay yes ye I see ye Canada glad all this the grana yazita Katay nada not only it's not about Hamas. So what that Ecuador, he could out the great of I see could shades which are named Jah they being at the snow Bahan Bahasi Dalia Halahot. So then not was for that translate the snow out loud the children at the need down. So kadit all day at the snow kadona gaidam. So nagaidam hasing we're gonna get an update from Navajo Nation Water Resources when they thought leseko. So it only husband ajigi adonana kado nagaidam. I was reading the email kadona gaidam this morning kado a benandish now kadona email in Strabana Shande nagaidam. Based on Anaquado Hasin for a Bentasil Nasuko Nagaidam, a Quado Nagaidam, Shinko Quado, Action and Nadal, Nasiki Summer Youth Employment Program, a Diki for $4 million, a Quado a by Babao Kid, a Quadonal, for the Danhadit Email, so the co. A ya delegate Eugene So, I don't know, there's co sponsors, the Christian Bishop of a Kako. A Kodona NOST needs made on a great council, the great special session at the army at Nakis Kanda a price condition a Kodo a Nazi Glenco, the great summer youth employment program, $4 million. So on day Kodona great this morning email in Strana a great Shanala President Neva signed Lala, he signed it into law. A Hodan ADG. So out of the $4 million, the 50-50 formula, a big 50%. 50% is 2 million. Is the 110 chapters. Amount. What I don't know the other 50% registered voters. So what I became was 50-50 formula. So using the 50-50 formula, out of the $4 million, not on is getting $28,869. I don't know, all jet $43,659. Out of shot $39,003. Out of that flappy kin $30,845. What I could get public at the house, out of bed, so in the Western Agency. There's 18 chapters, Western Agency. So in the at Ecuador, base above Yagi, $683,569 on that 18 chapters. The 4 chapters we have up. So in the biggest agency is Eastern Agency, 31 chapters. $1,053,097. 45 chapter, $974,038. Shiprock, $763,916. Out of Chenli, $525,380. So they can now $4 million. So what are they? So Nagaita, I see that challenge the snake called on Nagaita chapters, Nagaita delegates. One chapter represent this indicate. So like with the Shiprock Agency, one chapter, one delegate that represents one chapter, Delegate Eugenia Charles Newton, excuse me. Kwado, base above it, $104,978. So that, I don't know that the others have delegates for that. So that chapters, Asha represent this indicate. So like Chenli, Delegate Eugene, so $79,064. That echo. I don't know what all here Western Agency, a delegate auto so a Shiprock, not Shiprock, Tuba City chapter, they represent a Shanko. So a economist, there's $72,700. What that echo. So it is Yakoda, what that all the land laid on Quado. Now, Nashuta, Zagi, Kodo, Haronana, Kodo, I see here, Kodo, Shunala, Navajo Nation President Jonathan Nance kudo adonda kudo Shasha Myron Lizer so kudo Vice President RC head with an son. These things kudo has shinige nada don Mexico kudo the nada don Meston has shinikudo the eda that edonana kudo nagaidan ultra eda and again so that edegel say that she nada dios nego. So it hote as adonana kudo Yego kudo pensil nes kudo hasin togo. Ya kudo legislation 006 00 kilian hey 1,070,000,000 belansi gleko kudo. Ya kudo na gaidan. Delegate Freeland kudo sponsor la aronan co-sponsors dot halako. So kudo na gaidan. Kiskanda Belansi Gleko. So Kodona Gaidam chapters. Ishin Kodona Gaidam. Ashin Sosa. Ishin Kodona Gaidam chapter projects that. Is above the head of Kodo. So he did on the $1,000. Kodo. Kodona Gaidam. Our region Kodo. Kodo Hashin Soko Kodo. Breakdown the key and Danisha Kodo. So Kodona Gaida break down the case with the amendments. After amendments breakdown, they need Kodo. So Kodona Gaida in our area, our region. So Kodo let me look for the breakdown again. Okay. After the breakdown in our region, 34,512,280. Chapter projects, regional projects. 8,802,340. I don't know hardship that's up to head of equal 557 million Quado Belansi, Lanky, Quado adult beans, even Mexico, 120 million Saipa, Pikita Nasi, Neleco, Asian Quado Nagada, Tabitunda, Iligisa, Eba, Pikena Yapa. Adding the Quado Nagada, health, that public safety, that else up at Hawadia. Adonana Nagada, wastewater, wastewater, that's a big Holian here. Nagada or Jetco. Adonana Tlapikin, Navajo Mountain Shanto, Lababke Holiaco. So Diki Kododam, chairs Labajishan, Kodo, Adonana broadband, those Abake Holia, Yanagadam, 100,000, 100 million, excuse me, divide that by 24 delegate regions, Kodo, $4,166,667, Kodo. Arona electric connections to homes. Kodo the chapters above Geta Holia or J Kodo Tapikin. Aronana Navajo Mountain. That is above Geta Holia. Akotidi de Oibaha, see Kodide Kodo, or you that two of my chapters are going to be missing out the snow Kodo. So Kodo Nagati out of a Latin legal president Kodo sign is the same Kodo Nagata. The two chapters that are missing out. Syndicate in a way that chapter and regional projects. Okay, she Babgeta how these names could do. Adonana housing that or that elder Sabageta Holia. Out of bathroom additions. Edo. So Edo only husband on this Kodo. So but Kodona Gaidam. I don't know Kodona Gaidam. Should not simple hotney on the sticker Kodo. Ishin Aj bananas, left or the Nana Kodo, I Bastelado Kodo even bananas, nail in Aj Marie veto, line item veto that Aj bananas, Yasanaho. So Adoshi Kodo say them, Chanaliv them, resolution which only Adoshi Kodo, ye la slegi da shin ko do ben his na snet or les ko do ado shin ko do e ba sahi let or les ko do the 4 chapters is in adan na hanan start on na ko do na gaita we're probably going to have like 3 meetings that are do les ko do e ko do dam be his na these ne ko do ado na at that time I'm ishin ko do division director ko do yoshika na ko do Dr. Element e da shin ko do hasin so da e ko do e ba na da these na ada ishin ko do da we get ko segi da na ga chapter project to so 80 hotel les ko do da suna senigi ko do on his husband do le ko so na ga da 86-22 e ko do e lasi clinical ishin not for the legislation ko hatel ara da be la resolution ko hanadel in the president of the so e as da banana sunane pleto lesko hasin gets en hot vito lesko so e hot as arona ko to hasin so e aye ko da lesko do na executive branch I see here but snedo that lesko ko ye ko banana should I da ko so ko do na da amendments ben is there ye di o ye sa o on di so ye o ye should be oh yeah ko so amendments the quick can on the ko so na great delegate Edison Winika sees the baby la ko o be the kid ni ko da do vote da ilia ko so what that la e de ko na kis kanda ado na ko na greata attain el na ki so ko na greata kin ba hot aligi do na ko na ba el kai na great ada na great on jet ko na ada e do ko ada kwide kanda e ada khadati kai ko Utah Lieutenant Governor out of senators and representatives out of staff that and lay out of Kadadi Kay Konagada Copper Canning on a Kadi Kay or Zet Hodo chapter officials out of Nana Nagada Toado Shada Kodo chapter president Mr. Small Canning so he out of Hania even at 2 or 8 yado his staff feels the other so Kodo Nagada da keda and da dos mesa no da Kodo e ada kistan feels ne do teen be khal na hegita e do ko e tanel e ko or e hoda la aro the next day on the 27th May 27th and e Marie Utah Water Rights Settlement Agreement signing ceremony da le ko e sunale e ajbanan e la Navajo Nation President Donana Nagada Utah Governor Spencer Cox and the Kodo Interior Secretary Deb Holland e ajbanan shudayilla the magada prohibit kadayilla so e la da khasa clay caught during that signing ceremony for Utah water rights so e do I say yeah kodo ye ko e ben da as the sigi ko tida the Christian administration the chapter that in the skin at on in that le sigi the Christian ya hada de ko ben da as the sigi ko tida ko ayego ekis basil mes so tida aro kadi ko na don te ne gaita e ko e thogi the nada to ne sigi so the gaita ta no wa ko on the Utah side e hot eto ya e thobskai ada thobskai later ho so that aro na shan economic development aro na eket ligeta that or that she could e ben na e ado le ko na gaita other quid na khayeta da Mark Maryboy or yes yidash nasiko along with Brown and Caldwell or yin dash nasiko so dida so ishin kodo e aben nan il nasto leleko so we still have a lot to do with on the signing ceremony like kodo da moving forward kodo na nasin sagi the be hane kat or les kodo so edo actually do he had snedo les kodo so edo ya wat en halen ko kodo edo ya lahans ko kodo sahan le ko kodo adonana kodo da na gade hinda il da sto na gade barriers de na gade job the gizo a tinda with the hinda il da ye hot fotle a quite is so out the gade every year you mate and then ko barriers gathering Asian Nagaida, July 22nd through the 24th. Asian Hot Up Nahot, Atol, Asian Adam Day, Hito, Lesico, but Kodona Gaida that week, July 18th, only the 22nd, Monday through Friday. Yana Gaida, Navajo Nation Council, summer session, the East, Neko, Lesico. So Asian 1 week, Asian legislation, she had Leto, Lesico, go Ajo Hall, Jesus, she be husband, or Lesico. So it is Yadahanako, it is Lahans Toko, Hodo, Hasin Foido. One house net or less quado, Adonana quado, other quigosing legislation, la postanada, lato, yeah, that shorten the quado, anafi, car quado. There's a legislation quado, postanana, legislation 010822, a delegate Eugene So, sponsor, and I laco. Nagay adequate Canada sponsor land withdraw land carry so nagayda keheki quedo nagayda quedo hasin for amendment again hasin to go and on the store that quedo not for beginning the year quedo gets what that is quedo that should not honestly quedo gets forward that is this legislation. I know that I withdraw I got a lot of text message out on the emails that called the names and the guitar yahat read on the text that you lack. So this is on it on this and he's on out of this political. I don't know what on a great my phone can is LDA so either the Senate on days in what that so once for this please I know we have a journalist out there. He's on the line called Navajo Nation President, I don't know, Vice President. So once for this please Mr. President, I don't know, I shall with this as my small canyon. So idiot I need kid on the Mr. Chair, thank you.
Here start reporting lagi. I hot edit another haltin. Lead the solo hoya torch eda con Hinley and Tolman has on it. Lead say you you tobe that is not Khalid Alan Hitch is large though. Listen. I don't live back a shin. Oh yeah, and lead isn't only copper cannon. Yeah, Janako. I know Kajo Nana don't live as Chinayada. So that's Kajo. Tobe cut nature that the late sickness as Shanto. And the took a chimbina as Sean John with earthen dams. Oh, I should he did not ask do it not do it not I should not only NPL has Navajo partition land a BIA then a guy that is arrow not the Togish change attention that they can D9 late rent the yilla able kind of late contract yilla no a cushion for us a rent today la a tradition lishan told the cushion in it la only Black Mesa card de nalo do ar shana it la on what you force leg to hard shin nanalo so you don't only on John do listen but oh you in here to get chin or anas you have the floor in the report. Stasia Elsie.
Good morning. This is Elsie, Small Canyon, LDA to Delegate Daniels. Yat Epene to all the officials from the 4 NOST chapters. I see some grazing officials, also see DCD, ASC, and excuse me, OPVP, and excuse me. I also see SEDC, P&Z on the line. Just to quickly give a brief update with what Delegate Daniels and I have been doing. Of course, May has been a very busy month, not only with meetings, but graduations, the promotions, other reception stuff. So I'm sure everybody was busy that month too. And then last month again, June, it just seemed like the month went by so fast. And I just really want to thank each one of you that have been really busy with your own communities. Just the regular meetings that have been going on for the month. I also try to stay on top of listening in on other committee meetings, RDC, HES committee, BNF, law and order, mid-June 17th to the 18th, we had a staff professional development session out at Albuquerque for Office of Legislative Services. So a conseilla, and it was really something else. I think, we don't necessarily call it a staff retreat, but informational sessions and things like that that we sat in on. Although, just trying to listen in on the NPL, grades and committee meetings, stuff like that. And Upbekin had their intergenerational conference last month, which Delegate Daniels also took part in on June 9th to open up the whole event. So this past week, Napa Nation Council had their special sessions from Wednesday to Friday. So of course, there was a lot of debate and discussion on legislation 0086-22 call. And then yesterday, also listened in on the Ojeto leadership budget work session. And then of course today, the NOST regional meeting. I think the one meeting that each of the 4 chapters have been interested in is the Tole task force meeting. The next meeting coming up is on Tuesday, July 5th at 8 o'clock. So if you guys are interested in getting in on that meeting, that's at 8 o'clock on Tuesday. And I just really want to thank each one of you. And I think, just for me to be honest with everyone, I can vouch that what Delegate Daniel said about, being careful with, making sure that we still take safety measures and precautions regarding this COVID. It's still here. And I can, like I said, I can vouch for you because I just recently contracted that. And as you can tell, I'm still getting over it. But, luckily my children and we only had mild to moderate symptoms. So although we did all get our vaccine, it's still here. So no matter that we take every precaution, we've been sanitizing, bleaching, wiping things down, using sprays. It still gets through. So I just really want to put forth that notice again that, we all need to take care of each other and to quarantine, if not isolate ourselves. And we had been doing that, but yeah, it's sneaky. I just really want to say be careful out there. And although I did have this, I still participated in meetings, listened in on it. I forced myself to move around and get logged in on these meetings, because it's something that I think it's also mind power. Not only physically, but mentally, we still need to be strong with this alcohol. I for the last 2 years, we were lucky enough to not have gotten this virus, but it's still here. This coming month, of course, we have a holiday coming up, But with a lot of these recent issues, even at the state and national level, especially with the Roe v. Wade decision that just recently came about, there have been many opposition, again, discussion regarding that particular issue. So if those of you are are aware of that, I believe it's up to the state level now on whether or not they're going to be enforcing that particular decision. Personally, it's something that really is at an individual level as to how, we take a stand on this particular issue. Again, there were other talks about how it's going to also affect ICWA, which is the Indian Child Welfare Act. I think, even with all of these national news and issues, it's going to somehow trickle down to every one of us. And, just keeping on top of that particular news is also important. I know lastly, the Navajo Nation had just recently put out notice that some emails were going to be affected, especially the Navajo chapters.org particular line. It was kind of difficult to get some information out, but we don't know how long that's going to take to be resolved. And hopefully pretty soon it does, because, there's a lot of information out there that Delegate Daniels and I try to forward to each of the chapters just to keep you apprised of everything that's going on. But if not, you guys are always welcome to look on the Navajo Nation Council website. They do post the meetings, the agenda, meeting links and such on that particular website. Other past, current, and pending legislations too, that one you can also look on the DIB website. And anything that's coming out with that, all those can be viewed on that particular website. Other than that, I do thank you for your time, and happy holidays. And just recently there was a Father's Day, so to those fathers on the line, happy belated Father's Day to each one of you. And just want to wish you all a good day. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Shadeja, for your report and helping Delegate Daniels. I know some of these meetings are real long, and although you have grandkids around and you tend to them, I don't know, kids don't know. That's a big job there. Any questions for Delegate Daniels and Shadeja Elsie? Any questions for them?
Chair.
Okay. President McGee, you have the floor.
Good morning, everyone. Fiber optic Herman Daniel. Ilahi ba na altehlan so yeben na ade shiklinsa. Alit in la ada andi tanan mashita ish anat zada tahdi lwadada. Ile ya. Bona.
Shita, do you have a comment on it?
Mr. Chair, thank you very much. Now, Nightingale great at the local level. I Neshiki at all. So, then I call it Hati Data and I got the base for Anna. I call it a very hard to say, Yosh, cast or hard to say. Ashend, hitch a hand. Oh, the hot lag, eat a hot data. I'd appreciate mesh at the house and I call it great. They're running a fiber optic line from Utah down onto the Navajo Nation. Kare Nagai Monument Valley, Monument Pass, Aqueta in Mishkat. Makoko Nagai they're running fiber optic along the highway. They're using the state highway, 163 for right of way. You see it's Akika right now. They're setting poles. Nagai pass. It's quite what the house on the Haki Nagai China Lagi. I go to what I is where I call Craigie Nagai poles to get that. I thought there's like 3 or 4 poles that are installed. Nagai Adam Akat. A Craigie, so I seen it go. I said the snow, Craigie. I said the snow quite on the radar in this here by the yard on the radar. Let's have a meeting at Skentico. The guy with the Emory Telecom, the snow quite on the radar, Michael Lona. I don't know on the radar. AFC, Lindy acting coordinator from Ojeto, Mr. Sosi, Calvin Sosi. Meeting set up at the least at the snow. So so to have a meeting with Emory Telecom out on the Navajo Land Department, Stokado. So Nagaita Bahat Eniki, so Bahat Eniki Nagaita, fiber optic Yahan, Delegate, Jane Hash, Sinabahat, and Nagaita Altazo. Adonan is going to go all the way around Nagaita, Chienta, Nagaisha, Todo Nagay on, not Agaya, Nagayos Ka, Sinabahat Echo. So I just about back here to go. According to DDG area, I don't add a DDG in a way down for them using the right of way along the highway. I don't add about where the Nebet is Agi a lot teas and then allotments and the ADG Craigie area Yada there's 3 allotments. There's one by milepost 3 and 3 or 4. Between 3 and 4, there's one right there. I don't know. There's another one between milepost 6 and milepost 7. ADG that allotment on the Highway 163 runs through those allotments. And there's another one, the guy Forest Gump Hill, just right before Forest Gump Hill, milepost 13, there's one right there. So between milepost 12 and 13, a Quaggy the highway is a beach and so ADG could on a way down. Fiber optic is steady a Quaggy. I don't his one met that no ya did a lot easy. ADG or yada still yeah. So ADG I had a meeting with the one of the allottees that Lenny family, Lenny over the house snack or so quite on a great time. Joe Bahat in the Chen Bahat and did. I don't know, I don't think it and a great time. The very underground they station. But the way that the overhead they leggy, the way that Christian down at the eye down, the way down. Kind of ruins the scenery. So I think a Quaggy egg on the way that kind of Kodo Shaman Lenigi Kodo Shaman Marietta Donna Shaman Jean Ayam at this I did cut it so either. A year ago, yeah, yes, so ADG Kodo the great there are meeting the Shimba Bahati with Emory Telecom. So hot aid on this ADG Kodo Mr. President Kodo the great old jet told my brother Banai Dens Kitigi. So AD Kodo I've been days in the shot Ecuador. So hopefully everything turns out good after the meeting. So the Toshin Eran Dodges but fiber optic overhead a quake area. It is Baba Hart so AD when we have our meeting with the Emory Telecom on Navajo Land Department. So Mr. Chair, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, after those Nana, Chair, you guys.
Oh, Vivaho, you have the floor.
Okay, equal lot, but then the equipment nothing, non-national yard, certain. A call, the alarm as the licky AI underground is. But later, hot, later, hot, though, other. In later, it has no in later. That's the way for car that it all telephone line hello done so it all other how does it all the season still it not it all other what I car on later I didn't know about him it all the nasia yet ask you what are those I don't the house the in the net in the point it all let it shine أنا يجي هاشي ده هتلاقي تكهنال كسوان كتاهن تينون هذا يسنا نالكه وهت أعرف اللي وصل لهذوني أتا هذا صح تصير زيدا هتان شدوني ده تا أكو بيكاد كدني كيا هي اللي وضع أعرف يجي يجي تو لا ما بكايدا هتا حالتين أكو يجي ده أيه توشي هو هذا Oh, die got the net and Stano, the Yorkshire. Okay, Monsieur Jet, Monument Valley has Ajo or Jet 2 chapters. Ajo, Monsieur, has you not personally chatted? I don't lay down at UNTF down best chatted. Oh, this is not the Yorkshire though. But you're on the underground. Okay, Craigie best of the Wahanoda. Okay, they could down Parks and Rec now. Craigie. Now, Nego underground, Nego. And that's the best is no. Even though if it's after Parks and boundaries, on Chico chapter, because they Craigie, Quite not push down in Shiban, hold me. A crab and hold naggy, Craigie, underground out in it. No. A underground that and adult it had the needle. Okay, over admit, she had and it took her show ya underground that don't mention what are they nothing. One hit that on Nick Nahalem saw your answers check. Oh, they down, she I thought she had dancing. We go to other parks and rec that another out that and that's it. Oh, that's it. I thought you go hot in the national store 11 that.
Mr. Begay, are you still with us? Looks like we've dropped his call. So with that, any other questions, Shanatani? Get those in stage LDA.
Mr. President,
Oh,
Chair.
Shita, you have the floor.
Although in the data, Shanaya had speak about that chapter president from Objeto. Although, yeah, job in yeah, had any get all China. Was cut so you get a bit yeah. But so as you go, I think became seats. Don't I can link or dot need. But Quakey and very key haki and the a hot the great so that Quakey the monument path or none and the great gum hill that I think that Hojono cover China Gagi or Chmoda is Kereko, the Posiki, that's Adon Lesiki, in Slaton Lesiko. A coco the great Adonana Quato allotment nest, and the gates of Ada has in for but is Aquado. Nagada post that was Sigi, other than his one that these allotments, they're like private properties, private allotments. I see that equal. So one of the allotments, Nagay Highway, Bijadan, Igi, years back, Highway 163, there was Meta. So I don't his one that I know, yeah, so yes, it's the has Neko, I don't know, Kodo, Nagay water lines. Power line that means that the 8 other we were never consulted. I know yes, that's Neko. So as a people not like as a private a lot he's done. Then as yes, he call he has in so that equal. But he was in the way down the scenery gave it's a quite a year. But then hit there could he couldn't see Zinigisa. On the way down, even Nakodo, on the power lines, the gate is say Dante, go. The Craigie did post that the gate as a great power line, say Dante, but the snow baby sounds Neko, the way about the yaw. So it is equal up the way down as the meeting set up at the RC, other ship husband, or the Kodo, I don't know Kodo, that the other Shikodo, I see them. Say arena to any handle Kodo, Kana, say that been done Mexico. Every day now we get concerns or issues like this at the local level of the Ashton to the Hanako. It was out of some Keto Adana, Ashako, it has in for a year. It had the Ash so that Hegi has in for maybe Hanako, some other with holiday, Donana, Mr. Downey, so that has in for a year. It had the Ash so. So it is what Ecuador is in. I just don't need out that during our meeting, Mr. President, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Yes, for your comments. The other one is comment did concerning SYEP. Before this legislation. Currently, we have $2.50 session. So that proves that we use all the funds each year to hire SYEP right off the bat. So we use up all the funds. So SYEP or directly or chapters deposit that's in Johnny. That way you don't hold up the chapters, the summer youth program, employment again. That way, right off the bat, we can jump on it and start hiring summer youth program students. I know other chapters she best of the young business, but here it's using this and it is but had that I was hoping that this legislation would get passed and we should have been hiring students already last month and I done school in Vietnam just even not the hot air. I don't, Shinatani, if there is no other question, go.
Roland,
yes.
Roland, this is Jane. This is Jane Holiday.
Okay.
I
you have
just
a
go.
question or comment?
Just maybe a comment.
Okay.
FYI, die Dish Herman, for your information and thank you for being here and listening and giving reports. The thing that I am concerned about, another thing too is, Nathan and we have a lot of land in that area. Meeting but I have a concern pertaining to Utah resident Ada through UNTF and then trust fund. I think we need to meet, or just FYI, I think we need to meet with Anna's chapter or Jetto chapter and not just a chapter. That's a meeting. The UNTF funding, that the funded all the meeting that set it all just FYI though, let's just send information and all just to be for you to be aware of.
Okay. Any response, Shita, Herman?
I don't know, just that, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Kudo. If he I would on next Kudo Nagaida, Nagaida UTFG. If you have a vacation, not how these Ecuador, maybe during our planning meeting or leadership meeting, what Nagaida, not just on Nagaida, the other 6 chapters on the Utah side, the Utah Naval Trust Fund. So it'll go. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Shita. If there's no
Yeah,
other
Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. McGee. President McGee.
But Habiga, on the calls not drop, it's also. Today with the Habiga.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Alrighty. Yeah, Lana, for your report, Shitado, Stage Elsie, and all the questions and comments. Kaya, Shajay Bahadish, President Ness. Shajay, you have the floor.
All right, thank you, Roland. Sorry about this. I'm actually at the Gallup Flea Market campaigning on the side of the road, showing my signs, people stopping, a good response. Yeah, it's hot though. But Navajo Nation is a big nation. But I think overall, Shanelle Herman Daniels gave a splendid report. As I was waving the signs out here to the people and talking to them, I did have an ear.
I think the president disconnected himself by touching the earpiece.
He tapped himself out.
Yeah. Well, then he'll join back in. We'll wait a few seconds here. Actually, he's logging back in. Maybe time for coffee or
Here it is, Billard.
oh, Shadat, you have the floor.
Just real quick, if we could, everybody that is presenting or providing a report, be appreciative if we could get those written reports so I can also include them with the minutes and archive. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sta. Yeah, that, as you know, all the chapter officials that for your meeting, you had to have written reports. So we should all know that written reports are useful and they're pretty handy. Back to you, Shajah.
I'm sorry, we cut out. I guess if you press this earpiece 2 times, it disconnects. But anyway, there I was listening to Herman's Shanelle's report. I just want to tell Herman and all of you, thank you so much for 0086-22. Ebe the other day. 20 in favor, 2 opposed. This should tell people that we work really well together with the council. I know there's a lot of perception out there. President doesn't work with the council. 20 people, 20 delegates voted for the legislation that we've been putting together. And it's not my bill, it's the Navajo people's bill. Water line, electricity, broadband telecommunication. And, you know, we delivered. So I'm just waiting for it to come to my office. I know there was some amendments, but when we looked at it, I think Herman will agree, about 80% of the bill, the original bill, is still intact. All the infrastructure projects are still there. And you know, it's not like it's my way or the highway. I'll look at these amendments. You know, it's a time for compromise, and they have some good amendments. So I'm pretty confident we'll be signing a big bill that will address a lot of the needs for our Navajo people. So thank you to Herman and the other 19 delegates, 20 total, who voted for 0086. Historic. That's $2 billion of $2 billion of money coming from the federal government that we're able to put into action. So there's money for former Bennett Freeze area, Robert Black, 15.5 million. We also, well, I don't remember what else got amended out, but the infrastructure, water line, electricity, broadband, telecommunication, housing is still in there. Elderly housing, veterans housing, housing manufacturing facility. We want to build one in Tuba City so that we can build homes for our people. E911 rural addressing is still in there too. So it's a big package. And once we consider it, we'll do a better presentation of what's in the bill. Because right now, is dojo bells and what is in the bill or what got taken out. Some of the health stuff got taken out, I know. But Dr. Yellowman is on the call. If you all have any questions, she's got some updates as well. Robert is on the call. He can put on his Navajo Land Commission executive director hat if you have any questions for that, of that. And it's just a happy day for the Navajo people. And, you know, as you all know me by now, I don't rest. We should be celebrating, but we just keep on going. You can hear people honking horns right now. All the volunteers are holding signs on the side of the road here. People are excited and about this election. So the other thing too, yesterday we signed, as Delegate Daniel said, $4 million for summer youth employment. So the summer youth employment, hey, how's it going? I'm doing a report. All right, yeah, and people come in wanting to meet, and $4 million for summer youth employment, 110 chapters. We signed it in Shiprock. We were in Tuba City yesterday, Kayenta, and Shiprock. So that's going to be going out to the chapters for summer youth, winter employment as well. And what fireworks events are happening from last night. We started in Shiprock. Tonight it will be in Chinle. Tomorrow, Tuba City, and then Tuba City and Kayenta. And then on Monday, 4th of July, Window Rock, and there's going to be one in Crown Point too. So just trying to keep people stay on the Navajo Nation, even though I'm in Gallup right now, but everybody still flocks to Gallup, to the flea market. There's tons of people over here. First of the month weekend. Window Rock is having some events as well. But, you know, as you can hear from my voice, I'm just excited for the Navajo people. we're finally able to move forward with water line, electricity. I mean, that's what a lot of people want. Homes for those that can't help themselves. We're moving forward. And lastly, just again, thank you for your support. August 2nd is the August 2nd is the primary election. I'm on the ballot, number 10, Nez for Prez. So thank you so much, everyone. God bless you, and we'll see you soon. We'll be out in Western Agency for the campaign the last weekend of July, that 30th weekend. We're thinking of starting out from Baadaway Gap, Copper Mine, Chichi, Kaibito, Inscription House, and then ending in Shanto at the home turf. So, thank you guys. I hate to cut it short, but there's some people waiting for me over here. God bless you all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, Mr. Prez. Thank you for your time. Okay. Aronan, next item on the agenda, we have Ms. Fern Benali, Navajo County District 1 Supervisor. Are you with us, Supervisor Benali?
I am here. Yat Esh Nantano Shanigi, NOST leadership. Ado Lance Dahagi, Triage, Mr. Small Canyon. Shadin Ani Ado Kon Shani Do, Vice President, Secretary, Treasurer, and all the chapter officials from the 4 chapters. I thank you for this opportunity to give my report. First thing, top of the line is that we did finish redistricting Navajo County on Tuesday the 28th at the 11th hour, you would probably say. We had some struggles. However, it is complete and it is done, and it went into effect yesterday. And I do have added to my list is Bird Springs and Western Agency. So now we have, I believe, 6 chapters in Western Agency. I do have Winslow as well as along the western border of Navajo County, then across to upper part of Hopi, and still have Shanto, Kayenta, Chichibito, Oljeto, and Navajo Mountain. So you're all still part of my group. Other than that, we did start our new fiscal year yesterday on July 1st, 2022 is our new fiscal year 2023. So that goes right along with the redistricting being effective. And I do have probably 200,000 for her funds and 200,000 for special her funds. And then believe 8,000 for discretionary funds for the chapters for small needs. Other than that, our fire restriction emergency was rescinded because of the official start of the monsoon season. However, continue to be careful with open fires. Don't toss cigarettes out on the road, or don't smoke over out in public. Otherwise, continue to be careful. And then as it is known, COVID Omicron BA.5 and BA.4. I guess I should also include. That is snooping around again. So be careful. Continue to wear your mask. Be vigilant, and social distance, and always sanitize your hands. So prior to being a chapter official in Navajo County Board of Supervisor, I was in the healthcare. So I'm aware that washing hands is very important, can prevent you from catching many, many infections. So really protects you to wash your hands. Although Red Dog, I believe, is still at the tail end. The chapters, the 2 chapters in the Black Mesa region are still getting their last few loads. Have issues with trucks being down with the group. So, but however, like I mentioned, the negotiations for another year of, at least another year of Red Dog Gravel project is in progress as we speak. And Bakil, because these roads get really muddy and they get snowy and ice packed, so that really helps for the communities to help them get home on days of rains. And we did have a meeting with Miles Begay and Navajo County, including myself, and also BIA and NDOT over at the Public Works. And Henry Begay did come out to meet with us. His I guess during the real windy times, which was right before our meeting, they had a lot of work to do with removing sand dune berms from the road. So that took a lot of their time, and he only has 4 operators out of 5. So if you're an equipment operator, look into a position over there, I would say. For the most part, and the rest of the, if there's anything I forgot, I'll give the report at the chapter meetings. So unless there's questions, that's all I have for you now.
Here, Shamat reporting live. Shanatani, if you have any questions, Shamat, at the state level, I heard somewhere, that's on it. I heard state of Arizona is looking into electrical vehicles, recharging stations throughout the whole state of Arizona. Ish, do you know anything about it?
They did pass some legislation to really encourage the electrical vehicles. So there will be funding set aside for that. That's about the gist of what I know at this time. Probably maybe the major cities, but we'll advocate for getting to have some come our way.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just 1 or 2. You all realize that Jasmine Blackwater Nygren is not gonna run for her seat this coming fall, or this July is I believe July 5th is the end of voters registration. And August 2, I believe, is the election. That's the election for Navajo Nation. I have to September. I don't know the exact date, but September is the election for the state and the counties. So just be informed. She did announce that she's not running again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate if you forward, unhandling though for that electric vehicle recharging station. If you hear anything about it, you email that. Okay, any other questions, Jonathan? Then let's move down to on the agenda. Number 8, Ms. Lena Fowler, I thought Ms. Miranda Morales reported prior to the, while we were waiting for a quorum. So let's move on down to number 8, reports and regional chapter presidents. 5 minutes each for Kakwegi. Patricia Blackhorn, that's the chapter president. You have the floor, Madam President. President Blackhorn, are you with us? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Next one on the list, letter B, Willis Brigade, Oljeto chapter president. You have the floor. Shnatani.
Yata benanan. Ado sin ajo hoji. Ado that's not ado. There's no sunny. Yata he. Ado just reported then. So I'll go ahead and pass on.
Okay. Alrighty, next one on the agenda is letter C, Roland Small Canyon, Shanto Community Governance President. What I have is just an update from what's going on at the Shanto Community Governance project. So what we've been doing lately, we usually have our leadership meeting every Monday evenings at 5 p.m. Why we have our leadership meeting is the dynamics of Shanto chapter, the administration, though the officials, the subcommittee, they're continuously working on projects. Though even now we continue to have these meetings because every day change not me at the chapter administration level, and then Nana Kojo, Shanto economic development, auto planning and zoning, our P&Z. And then we invite other departments, directors that invite other entities. He usually joins us, Delegate Daniels, and then County Supervisor join. Next one, planning and zoning. It'll attend this Here planning and zoning is a certified chapter. Here hold up the Club C. It's another name for Club C. So the here plan P&Z AJ master planner AJ Tania AJ Akanalo the P&Z but project C AJ Adonana. The next one is Shanto Economic Development Corporation meetings. Ajit join this. The SEDC chair Arlene Ed Ajit Yasatado. She has her committees, her committee members. Raquel Blackdo, Vern Hankiva Ajit members in the Adonana. The Black Mesa area. The old shopping center, the old store and the trailer court, to get those business sites going again. Talking about business site, we hit Shanto Community Governance. We have our own business site leasing authority. We're able to do business site leasing, like Shanto Marketplace, though the hotel, Shanto Hotel, so they don't want it. I don't know, moving down to Shanto La Quinta Hotel. Our SCDC, Vern Hankiva Ajit liaison. So he has direct communication with the superintendent Ajit Benali Woodruff contractor. Ajit Casatado. Of course, we have that direct communication from the superintendent. Every week, he report need. What I have on there is directly from him. So the interior stem wall, poorly. I don't know the water line, so they're being tied in because plumbing, it's near completed, the groundwork. So once that groundwork is completed, they'll be pouring the exterior wall. I don't know the sewer lines out there, they're in place. I don't. Right now, the work progress, it's on schedule though. Only February. Direct information from the construction superintendent. Because one of our projects is White Post and Black Mesa water line extension. I don't know if you know Mr. Phil Cooley, so he was looking for a place to stage his material, a PVC pipe material. So Shanto Community Rodeo Ground, but material stage they let or less, and then man camp they'll be next to the chapter house. I just set up that. What they're going to do is drill the canyon, the east wall and the west wall. Drill the pipe so the water line is going to cut across the canyon and continue out to White Post only, Black Mesa. So when it gets on top, it'll have a booster pump, electrical, into Landa Aslin, so they're ready to execute that project. A water line extension project. I don't know how to do Shanto South Phase 2 power line extension. Again, with Light Up Navajo, just like Croon Dash they managed to run the power line out towards West Chicago Lee, Dotson's Kerat, and between Ajni. So July got Hanana. So it's going to continue north from Highway 98 on Lee North to the Hanani. Lee Santasna Lolly, but I don't know only Shan Toja. So the never, but I saw Bispara Hajan did it. Like Baan Daviado Bispara Hajan. Oh, here I know that chapter administration then Naka. So it aging here power line extension project. Report Ishla Ani. Thank you. I can take questions if you have any questions or comments.
Mr. Chair, this is Daniel.
Oh, Shadda, you had the floor.
Yes, thank you. Without the Quigo Shi Adole, the Inishigi Quado Nagata, Chat Torja. Yeah, I see. Yeah, Quado, Adonana Quado, Islam Nashagi. I see we hit the Halonko. Adonana Quado with the water line. The Quadat, Quado, I see. I hit that del Shida Quado Nagata. Mr. Philip Cooley, the OEH out of the Quado chapter has undone not on it. Mr. President, Shada Donana Quado, the Hitton da field net. Adonana Quado into either Western da field in this Quado. The into a land of the Hagi dam. Rex Coots, Donana Ajitan Dan, the Shida. Little dashes and I say, Quado, son, I have a long lake, Quado. So I see here, Quado, Adonana, Quado, Adole, but that in the Shiki, Quado, La Quinta Hotel, so I could have the year, Quado, but that in Nish, Quado, so that ego, Quado, a kiss nails, Nishigi, I see here, Quado, Adonana, Quado, adequate conduct, Quado, MTUA, in a great dam, invite the shield, Quado, a great dam. I seen so Quado, Light Up Navajo 3. Edo Aja na Shan Toja Aja that Naked in the adequation Kodo, but I stayed over that is Chandler Kodo, E Kodona Gaida, Kienta Middle School, the Able Safari Kodo, Edo Hilton Field Meso Ada. But all here have a Dini Kodona Gay, one of the utility company that came out from North Carolina, Greenville Utilities, AIZ Dam, Plicana, Sanaka, Crown, Hikai, Jaco. AIC do here in the Stokodona Dam during the appreciation meeting and dinner do that's link Kodo. So it is that Kodo, but Kodo appreciate the report Kodo. So in Lagi Kodo Suda Kodo. I don't know other chapters so hot Kodo the other 3 chapters so AIC here Kodo. Thank you.
Okay, stop. You kind of look here the NTUA. I found out as official. You had to be on your toes and you had to be available all the time. Mr. Phil Cooley at Project Sistla Sayano, and he was ready to pull the plug on it if I don't get any support from NTUA. The canyon wall, Chanto Canyon Wall drill and they 40,000 gallons. No, I can't get that water support from NTUA out of the electrical either. So it no. So he asked me for his requested for a meeting though within an hour, which meet is though, and we got Delegate Daniels on the line out of. Oh, okay. Boom, boom, boom. With Delegate Daniels and the Rex Coots meeting within an hour, but Leslie. So we managed to keep that project going. Though in hit that is for the people. So being available as a official or working for your people. That's the most important, and keeping these projects going for them. Although Light Up Navajo, one of the NTUA requests is to have your community member, like House Wire, make sure they go to NTUA and file their application with them. So that way, on your behalf, the Light Up Navajo or these power line extensions, it happens. So all that you have to keep in mind and keep the community going. That's one of the responsibility that we have as officials. Although, yeah, thank you for the question, comments. Any other questions or comments? The next item on the agenda is Miss Shadet Geraldine Cheats, Ken chapter president. So she's excused. Unless Shadat, Mr. Secretary Dillard, do you have want to do a report for her? If you have any.
Yes, she provided her report, and I'm sharing it here. I'll go ahead and read it. Good morning to all community members, Navajo Nation leaders, and colleagues. Hope that all is well and good for family and friends. It has been hard these past few months due to the pandemic. Now that we are moving forward, I would like to learn from the past and plan for the future. With that being said, I would like to report that we have been busy moving forward with our plans for the many projects that are sitting on our plates. For electrification house wiring projects, we are moving along, minor delays here and there. As we come to minor problems, we resolve them as soon as we can to not delay the project too long. Our chapter manager is on top of this project. I am very pleased with his work and work performance. Pandemic has taught us a lot of the shortcomings that have with our Navajo Nation programs, offices, and technical infrastructure. There are many issues that have to improve, revamp, or change. We are fully operational and have been for quite some time. We provide full services and help our community with their needs. The Intergenerational Conference 2022 was successful. We had many attendees get reacquainted with their loved ones and friends. The current Miss Navajo Niagara Rock Ridge and 2020/2021 Miss Navajo Shondine Parish demonstrated how to butcher. Mr. Carlos Begay gave a speech on Navajo culture, customs, and teachings. Mr. Johnny Yazzie and his wife were the MC, and for that event. And the last but not least, Joe Tohani and his Apache Crown Dancers performs for the even on Thursday and the next day. All who attended enjoyed themselves. Moving forward, we will work on some of these projects that we have on the back burner. We are going to have our strategic session later this month to plan and schedule our next moves. This is all I have to report. Thank you very much for your attention and have a good 4th of July. Geraldine Chi, Zapikin chapter president.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary Treasurer. Reading the report for Zapikin president. Any questions or comments on the Zapikin's president's report? Let's move down to
Mr. Chair, this is Daniel.
Oh, Shada, you have the floor.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Zapikin chapter. know one kodo hasin so banan sitai la addition ya kodo intergenerational conference and lane kodo adonan adi Mahani yadonana haisit lenko the purpose and also the intent of the conference not every year. AIC kodo Pake me zinko adonana kodo Machine for itahos. Ako peha hol zizike ya the pena bahagi na oda da penan kin. Yes, I see. Here, Kodo, Adonana Kodo, former Miss Navajo, Adonana Kodo, of the current Miss Navajo, they were also there in attendance. Edo Hashin, so Yinan Kinako. Na Adonana Nagada, na Dante Yan. Then Kinigida, Ada Hashin, so Yenda, in the East, Alco. AIC, Kodo. Adonana, I used kids at the home, which is Zada. You baby, and Pico Hodo chapter for doing that every year for our Navajo people, our Navajo children, Koto Hashin and Linigito Nana Koto, Kudo Fanido, added the Halon, Bahone Zenho, for Idiot Ado, he has been to let them Prago Hodo. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Thank you, Shida, for your comments. Shida, I apologize. Just that day, a few days we attended a convention at Tornadoes. So it looked exciting. All the events that took place on Facebook, Bakai has kiddo, so that it looks like it was a successful event. Thank you. Moving down to, we'll jump down to number 9, presentation presenters. Okay, 5 to 10 minutes cut. A region ARPA projects update, Division Community Development, Dr. Pearl Yellowman, Division Director. You have the floor, Shema. *6 to unmute yourself.
Yate, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy July already July, and quite a bit is going on. The year is going by really fast. Shay Pearl Yellowman in Shia. Ado in Schlinigi Shay Tana Bitlin Schlendal is a Tlana Bushchin. Tobahanda Shiche. Ado Hanalahni Dashinale. So good afternoon to everybody. I heard President Nez earlier give his report. So good morning to him and the team at Gallup Flea Market, and Ado Shana, Delegate Herman Daniels, and to all the chapter officials. Good morning, and to the presiding chair here of the meeting. Good morning, and to chapter staff, Yate, and to our ASC staff. Calvin's on the line as well, Yate. I do have some information to share. I think what President Nez and Delegate Herman Daniel shared this morning was very thorough, and I'm sure everyone wants to know what's going to happen next. Well, one is we want President Nez to sign 8622 into law. He did state this morning that he's waiting for that to be certified and packaged and delivered to OPVP. And from there are some amendments in the legislation, and I'll just kind of go over one of them briefly here. So so number one is originally 86-22. 86-22 had 82 million for chapter distribution, and the amount was 745,000. And that was to not trigger the Single Audit Act. So I'll need to get clarification, but now under 8622, with what is being packaged, the new amount is $8,802,340 to the delegate region. So right there, I have to make sure that I am clear in the interpretations from DOJ, if there's any type of audit or how DCD will prepare and work with the chapters on that distribution amount. So that went up from 745 to the 110 chapters. With the Slater Amendment, went to 8.8 million to the delegate region. So that's one of the changes right there. Also under Delegate Raymond Smith, there was an amendment on the timeline. The original legislation 86-22 had 90 days for the submission of the expenditure plans for the projects. But there is a change in that proposed timeline, and I will see what they ultimately package up. In IHA, I'm reviewing the strikeouts and what was read into the record by Mr. Rico. So I'm still doing some homework myself. There was proposed critical COVID services from President Nez, representing branches and programs from the executive branch. Those were public safety, rural addressing, cybersecurity, and health. Those projects did, the amendments proposed did impact these projects. So for rural addressing, that is 35 million, cybersecurity, 5 million, and then the health, division of health, went down. It's now at 19 million, $19,243,750 that will be packaged and sent to OPVP. Remember, there was a hardship component, and the hardship component was 120 million. If you are writing these notes down and you want to share this with your community members, the original CD legislation, I think it was CD 61-21 last year, for not heavy equipment, hardship, that was for 345,000 Navajos. And if you do 345,000 Navajos at 71% adults and 28% minors, that's what 557 million was for. Under 86-22, the remaining 120 million is for the difference between 345,000 Navajos, and now we grew up to 410,000 Navajos with the same calculation of 71% adults and 28% minors. And that 120 million will cover the remaining hardship applicants. So Shanant, does that make sense? I hope I know these are numbers, and I just really encourage everyone to read the legislation. We including the chapters, we will be implementing this law. So it's important that you read these legislations and read the law. This 86-22 was heavy with infrastructure, and it will have water, wastewater, broadband, home electric connection, electric capacity, housing, former Bennett Freeze housing, and bathroom additions. And those are respectively at 215 million, 120 million, 96 million, 130 million, 15.5 million for former Bennett Freeze, and then bathroom addition at 150 million. And then the executive branch did relinquish some of the admin funds. Originally last year under the fund management, the executive branch received 180 million, which was less than 18% of the 2.2 billion to administer these funds. We received 180 million to administer these funds, and we returned a little over 40 million back to 86-22 to complete the 1.70 billion. So those are a lot of numbers. I can repeat them if necessary. But again, the next steps are number one goal is we're going to be relying on the subrecipient agreements. And Shay, my priority is to work with the ASC, SPPS staff on initiating and working with the certified staff and any of those subrecipient agreements to help deliver or give any of those funds, working with the delegate to the certified staff. It's at the delegate's discretion, or it's at the delegate's decision how they're going to utilize that 8.8 million. So I know there's already delegates meeting with their chapter officials. They're already working on how they want to distribute or divide up that money. There's some delegates working with their chapter officials on one regional project or several. So we will be preparing some information on what they will need to do to prepare those expenditure plans. Some chapters already have the expenditure review review by DOJ already. Those can be updated, but again, I need clarification from DOJ because under the legislation BFS 36-21, it states that the expenditure only gets 2 reviews. So I don't want the chapters to miss out or already have their review from last year. I need clarification. And once I fully read the law and ask my questions from DOJ, I will be turning that into a presentation. And I know sometimes I get busy with individual chapters, but I probably will be doing regional updates or 8 ASC regional site updates, or by the 24 delegate region. I can't do all 110 chapters I have to do groups, like I have to do either by agency or by the 8 ASC region. So otherwise it's just going to be really time consuming. But we are preparing to go immediately into deploying and implementing this legislation. The other part that DCD is involved in, we're involved in so many parts of this legislation. One is the 24 delegate region. The other is the bathroom addition. The other is housing. So CHID has been preparing for these funds, and CHID will be doing presentations and education on how they will be implementing and working with the chapters on these housing expenditures as well. So those are major components. And we also will be working with DPS on rural addressing. So a lot of the chapters requested for rural addressing, and I'm just really thankful. I'm really thankful for our leadership. And a lot of these things we need. The E911 and the public safety access points need rural addressing to help implement 911. And that rural addressing is so important. It's so important to the real ID. It's really important to E911. It's really important to redistricting, and it's important to medical addressing. And we'll finally get to build or complete the rural addressing. The bathroom additions were so important during COVID, and we'll now get to work on some of those. Electricity and housing. So I've just been very thankful and really appreciative. There were delegates like Delegate Herman Daniels. There were delegates that really stood their ground and advocated for infrastructure. And I would just forever be thankful. You know, I get on a lot of chapter meetings, and I know that there's always elders that come to the chapters, and they always ask for electricity or road improvement or water. And hopefully, you know, we'll get to deliver that to them. So I just wanted to add that for ARPA, I know a lot of chapters will be asking what's going to happen next. So we will be preparing for communications and interpretations of the law. We want to make sure that we are putting the process in place on how to implement the law. And that's going to be really important. And of course, we encourage President to sign this as soon as he receives it. So I know he will ask us what our plans are to move the legislation out the door. And I will be having to report to him, this is what we have in place for housing, bathroom, the chapter distribution. And it's a lot of work for DCD. And so I just ask that you work together and you work with us. And many of you have my cell phone number, and many of you have my, you know, my text or with Calvin. And I try to make myself available to everybody, and then just be on these calls to report as much information as I can give. So I'll move on because I think I have time sensitive here. Summer Youth was signed into law yesterday, so I appreciate the sponsor, Eugene So, Delegate Eugene So, and Wilson Stewart. And of course, President Jonathan is Vice President Lizer. They signed it last night around 6 o'clock in Shiprock. And we will have to move on the business unit numbers. And I think Calvin's already working with the chapters on that. If I'm not mistaken, there was an amendment in there to do retro pay back to May. And I have to double check on that. There's been a lot of reading I had to do on a lot of these legislations this week. But I want to make sure that ASC and DCD, we are, and the chapters read the summer youth legislation on the retro pay on summer youth because it's already July and some chapters have already hired summer youth back in May or, so there's a small provision we need to make sure on that one. The other one is the heavy equipment was extended and the sponsor was Delegate Mark Freeland, and there was several other co-sponsors, so we appreciate the extension. The next step on that is we will be working with a lot of the vendors now. And now, of course, there are some shortfalls on some of those heavy equipment pieces. So I will have to work with President and Vice President, OPVP, on addressing some of these shortfalls. And that was a conversation that occurred yesterday too, as well, with the 24th Navajo Nation Council. And there was some concern on shortfall for senior center buildings and shortfall on pre-pandemic projects. So DCD, we get called to council almost every session. So of course, we're preparing information on shortfall and the definition of a shortfall. So I imagine that will come back and be discussed during summer session. So we'll continue to work with the chapters on the heavy equipment and any of those shortfalls that we are experiencing. And to be fair, there is a increase in inflation across the nation. So it's not like these are inflated conversations or anything. They are inflation costs happening in all realms of function, gas, buildings, materials, supplies, transportation. So we're feeling the impact. So we will be seeing some shortfalls. So that I wanted to mention on heavy equipment. The other is on your agenda is the BIM. We work closely with RDC, DCD, and I'm very thankful for RDC. And I try to communicate as much as I can to RDC. And we had several work sessions on chapter stipend. And then one of the other work sessions was at Twin Arrows with budget and finance. So we work with RDC and budget and finance. We made 5 recommendations to RDC and budget and finance on chapter stipend. And ultimately, the one that everybody agreed on, or the one that was most favorable, was to make it in the fixed cost. And that was supported by President Nez. We prepared a legislation for Chair Jamie Henio to drop the legislation for fixed costs, but the OMB recommended or allowed for a legislation to not be needed, but to make changes into the BIM. So starting fiscal year FY23, the chapter stipends will now be part of the fixed costs. And I think that's a big win for everybody. So it will no longer be a concern at the DCD level. It will be already incorporated and will be part of the 3-branch discussion. So the 3 branches meet at the beginning of the fiscal allocation and review those fixed costs. And now the chapter stipend will be part of that. So I'm thankful. Some challenges we are seeing though this year with the FY23 allocation is the GWA and the fringe benefit. And Calvin, if I'm not mistaken, I think last year the fringe benefit was at 43%, and now it's over 50%. I want to say 51 or 52. But I think it went up 9 percentages. And so we will be feeling that in our budget allocation. So we try our best to give the money to the chapters. DCD admin, I do get a little bit of money, but I give that to the departments. I give that to CPMD or CHID or ASC so that they can have trainings out at the chapters, so that they can travel out to projects, any type of construction sites that costs a lot of money traveling out to construction sites. So anytime DCD gets money, I try to give those to the departments. And Shay, I think I'm real cheap. I don't do any traveling. I don't host any dinners for my staff. I know I should appreciate my staff more, but I really don't do those things. And I feel that that money needs to go to the departments, and it's the departments that deliver the hands-on stuff with the chapters. So I know I even had some criticism last week saying, how come you don't buy us passes to the fair? I said, just sneak in from the back. So anyway, all in there, but the staff know I really do appreciate them. But I just think our money needs to go back out to the field, and even printing stuff like that goes back to the departments, because they print, CP&D prints a lot of contracts. So those things cost money, and we really do rely on those funds from the allocations to DCD. Then lastly, I'll end with the website. So there was a transition. We transitioned out of Google, and we transitioned into a new email address. And we only have 2 IT people at DCD, Norbert and Sylvia. They've been there for many years, and I rely on their expertise. And they've been working with ASC on trying to make this transition. So I think Calvin can speak a little bit more to when that transition shall be completed, but I don't anticipate any challenges or difficulties once that transition happens. Again, Google was free, and we relied on Google for many years because it was free. But now we do have to get our own and pay. So those are costs that I try to trim the steak as much as I can and not pay for extra stuff, because we for 110 chapters, for paying for email addresses, though, that really adds up. So anyway, I just ask that you continue to work with ASC, work with the SPPS on any of these email matters, and we'll try to transition as fast as we can. So 8-ish and all in there, and I'll be on the line for questions. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Shema, for your report. Mr. Calvin Sosi, are you available to comment on some of the items that was mentioned?
What happened here?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I was trying to unmute myself. Well, the part I can yat ishnan I do and all those people that are listening in, And I'd like to thank all the NOST members for having this meeting and giving DCD and ASC time to provide some information to the chapter officials, mainly. Coco, the biggest move this week was, and a big decision had to be made by our technology department as far as the transition from Google. And our team there had to make a decision as time kind of drew near, and mainly distancing themselves from Google and all the business accounts that they had. So the key thing there was anytime an organization had, 300 or more business accounts, I guess, then they were identified as an enterprise agent. And the pricing on that really skyrocketed on the navochapters.org, and it really got expensive to the point where, it appeared like Google just wanted to squeeze more money out of the business account. So even that's why DCD decided to move out on that effort. So it was kind of like a last minute decision, but I think it's a good decision. They're planning on establishing 2 accounts, one for just chapter staff, and also one just strictly for chapter officials called an Adani account. So ADC Yindad Listode. So just for your information, as you all know, that when we are budgeted allocations, we always have to work with a limited budget. I just wanted to, I sent out all the information that's needed, and hopefully by now everybody read about the transitioning that's happening. I sent out an email at the beginning of the week, last week. So so I just wanted to just relay that to you. And on the day that we sent out information was also the same day was the deadline for the transfer. So it kind of made things a complicated process, but at the same time, we're trying to do the best we can to provide, I guess, the same opportunities that you had, and we had to do a lot of change setting and provide security as well to all of your accounts. And we pretty much had the staff there, the 2 staff that's there, Norbert and Sylvia, they had to almost do this one by one, and that was time consuming. So we just appreciate your understanding, your patience, and I'll forward to you all the information once we get information from the technology department when all this is complete. Thank you for this brief report. Back to you.
I have a question, Mr. Small Canyon. This is Marietta Pizoni.
Yes, Tatsu, you have the floor.
Yeah, I was getting kicked off the phone, so it's like trying to listen in as much as I could, but I don't know if Mr. or Dr. Yellowman had mentioned anything about the Western Agency chapter stipends. I was wondering about the status of that, or if legislation has been dropped, and if they're working on those.
Shema, Dr. Pearl Yellowman, do you have a comment on? Mr. Sosi, do you have any information on that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, nanti arrangement. It's not snarky. I know the last budget session this past year for Western Agency, including Chinle chapter, yeah, they were shorted the last quarter, July, August, and September on the stipend payment. So from our end, we collected all the information, and that was forwarded to DCD to possibly introduce legislation to cover those last 3 months. Or the other agencies, including Shiprock, Eastern, Western, Fort Defiance, in general, 12 months. And for some reason, Western and Chinle chapter, they didn't get the last 3 months. So I guess the division now is compiling information through Lydell Davies, and he's the main finance person to introduce the legislation and drop it into the hopper to allocate funds for the last 3 months. So, the only thing I would caution the chapter official is for those that are that have exhausted all your budget. Based on any agenda Nana, for those that are that have, I guess, a carryover balance, you would utilize that to pay your officials.
Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah, I like the way Shemai, she used that term, I'm cheap. And then I hope this isn't the same case for our chapter stipend. The Western Agency, the council delegates are
Shananta, this is Pearl. We did look into the chapter for Western Agency, the chapter stipend, and right now only 2 chapters. Only 2 chapters right now are have exhausted their accounts. So we're working with those 2 chapters. But even though there was a shortfall on Western Agency, after we worked with Auditor Brown and did the complete fiscal review, not all the chapters were short. So right now for Western Agency, there's only 2, and we're working with those chapters. So, Shay, you know, I'm learning when I go to the president's office and I say, this is short right here. He always says, where else can you get the money from? What's your solution to it? And I really do have to find the solution before we ask for a legislation or before we go to UUFB. Or so I myself and the senior accountant, we really have to look in the couch cushions and look for money, and we look around, we work with the auditor's office to see if there's any other funds or any carryover. So we're getting a little bit better at that. So right now there are 2 chapters that have reached the full shortfall of chapter stipend, but we're working with them. And then the delegate Thomas Walker, he in RDC is who we will probably Shay, I go to RDC when I need any kind of assistance, or if there's something that I need to report or bring to their attention. So we are working with Delegate Thomas Walker on the Western Agency shortfall. So I'll provide that. Thank you.
Yeah. Here, Shema, for that information. Here, we have our 4 regional representatives that we haven't been able to pay because funds, it's not mentioned in BIM at all, in our funds, the stipulations. Even we haven't paid our representatives, although they've been attending the meetings in our the new BIMish, the 23, is that mentioned in there to help us AFOG chapters?
Yes, the AFOG is in the BIM.
Okay. So for the time being, any recommendation how we can pay our representatives?
I'll follow up with Calvin and work with Chantel and Calvin this coming week so that we can package the most accurate number for the Western Agency.
Okay, thank you, Shema. Any other questions, Shanatani? Any questions or comments for?
Yeah, I got a question and a comment. This is Russell, Small Caddy.
Oh, you have the floor, Shana.
With that being said, Jay, prison official from Navajo Mountain. No thought in that cheating scholarship. That's cheap. Although, kapag that's another 200, that's a cheap. Although, depending on how to not other. With that being said, chapter here could have got so you can balance the 3 months ago, May planning meeting. So chapter meeting at in the valley, and I've been going around communities. They want this, and I've been getting a call yesterday. I saw there's cows in the right of way at Highway 5, so we had to chase them off. Even these resolutions, maintenance agreement, PIA, the INDOT, roads. It's a standstill. And I've been trying to keep moving forward. And I'm not just when there's a planning meeting, but it comes out either Mr. Associate or the chapter meeting again, invalid now. And I am just no way out now, but I'm glad this summer youth program again. I hope it goes through. I don't think about AIF comes up by I'm trying to I'm trying to help them get it. With this Navajo Nation fair going on, I'm worried there's going to be a fire somewhere on the fireworks again in Navajo Mountain or the forest. I'm worried about all these resolutions in my head, and I don't know if a tiny day, any day is going to go. People are asking, but the chapter, they should just leave their problem at home and just come to the chapter meeting and accept all these resolutions so we can get these projects going. Although my concern is Look at 17 candidates they check for Navajo Nation president, yeah. But none of them is veterans housing for kids home site. None of them what the heck, that would really fix a lot of home site housing. The kids can move back and jobs, that's on the horse run up. Road maintenance, I got a lot, and just broadband and that. But there's technology moving so fast. There's internet that gets better and better. Fiber optic and that's all those things. So these are my concerns tonight. So get back down to earth because community. So please work together. I said that.
Here now, or comment in Lagi. Any response, Shema Pro Element?
Oh, yeah, Nana. Yeah, thank you for the comment and the concern. I will ask if Mr. Sosi Calvin can give a quick update on some of the contracts that was inquired about. So, Mr. President, if we can ask Calvin, he can provide a little bit more of a detailed update.
Okay. Yeah, Shema. Mr. Calvin Sosi, you want to comment on that?
Oh, yeah, okay. And I just want to let the NOST chapters know that Navajo Mountain, a memorandum of understanding, it's a really good initiative. And they're the one chapter that they're trying to create a memorandum of understanding with BIA Roads Department. Double decker don't they watch it. They're doing an agreement with them, and anytime that there's an agreement or MOU in place where directed by DOJ that they have to review that Department of Justice, Rod Begay. So what we did is we did an RFS, and Rod is reviewing it. Those contractual agreements with entities outside of the Navajo Nation, DOJ always wants to review it for sovereignty purposes or to comply with any provisions of all Navajo Nation laws. So review hopefully sometimes this week or next week so culverts need to be cleaned out. The cattle guards need to be cleaned out because of the extreme high winds. And then those sandbars are along the road. So that agreement will also allow BIA heavy equipment operator to utilize chapter equipment and at the same time provide training to the chapter heavy equipment operator. So it's just that DOJ is taking time in reviewing the agreement. Back to you.
We cannot, Calvin. Mr. Sosi, for your comment. Yeah, I knew that a lot of these cattle guards, they need cleaning, and it creates a hazardous condition on the roads. I don't know, no, to hold up projects, that's another area. I mean, that's a huge concern over it. So, any other questions?
Chair.
Yes, Madam Vice President, you have the floor.
Hello, Yad Not Anis. Just wanted to say to Dr. Yellow Hair. Forgot your name, sorry, Yellow Man. I wanted to know if there was any provisions made for Zoom for chapters in the budget, or is that something that has to come out of pocket for people that are hosting Zoom again? The last year I've been paying out of pocket for our Zoom meetings, and I didn't submit anything for reimbursement, mainly because it's a little bit of a hassle for me, but I was wondering if there was anything that could be put in place, or if there's something that's put in place where Zoom could be hosted, or some funding available so the chapter could host the Zoom meetings.
Okay.
Any response, Shema, Dr. Yellowman?
Thank you. I'm not aware of many chapters paying out of pocket meetings. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Shema.
Okay, I'll just be really fast. I'm not aware of too many chapters, but I will look into if there is a growing cost or need. But again, we do try to work with some of the free for the free virtual learning or free virtual conferencing. And I think ASC did orientations on virtual meetings. So let me work with to get a little bit more information, and then I'll work with Calvin too.
Okay.
Chair?
Yeah, yes, Madam Vice President.
Can I just add one more little thing?
Okay, you have the floor.
One more thing, Dr. Yellowman. We were using Google Meet before, just an FYI, because it was free. But some people couldn't call in because maybe they had analog phones and it wasn't seeing their calls trying to get into Google Meet. So we switched to Zoom, where people were able to call in regardless of the type of phone they had. So that's just another thing to consider. That was why we kind of strayed away from the free versions.
Yeah, the other capability with Zoom was recording the meeting, whereas Google Meet, and I think this virtual meeting should have been recognized from the get-go of this pandemic. And I believe Navajo Nation should have seen that coming, and I mean, it should have been funded right off the bat, like paying for Zoom, and then the best quality type of communication. Although even as far as monitors at the chapter or I believe this virtual meeting is here to stay because it saved a lot of travel, and since funding, like for travel paying, it's cost effective that way. And at Shanto, our budget's usually it doesn't have any meat on it, just barely enough to boil and to make it into soup and obet agodeya. So I think maybe from the get-go with CARES Act, that maybe that should have been part of the funding that should have went to the chapters. Nihid chapter it's just that like for this one, Chatashi, he set it up with Zoom and a lot of time these type of meetings, it comes out of somebody's pocket, personal pocket. And we take advantage of it. So Mr. Calvin Sosi
Chair Diller.
Oh, Shita, you have the
Just
floor.
thank you for all that. I just want to go ahead and add on to those two comments. I think it's great, and I think that maybe the council or Shania, if he could maybe have the ability to draft like a amendment to the titles as far as making this a hybrid type environment from now on, because like the president stated that, you know, virtual is pretty much here to stay. It's more cost effective, and it's more it can get a lot more people involved. And so that was one thing we did at our chapter house was we did a survey. Well, I did a survey for our community members, and majority of those members, they support the hybrid initiative, because when we go back to post COVID-19 and we're wanting to have, you know, physical in-person attendance, again, we still have some struggles with the hybrid, but it's a little easier. But with the people coming into the chapter house, it's also a major, you know, issue to try to get quorum. So I think having the flexibility on that, I think it'd be great. And then with all this infrastructure coming in place, that just puts more reason to make sure that there's that flexibility in the titles. So I would just recommend maybe having that kind of provision added or amended in those titles. That'd be great.
Good points there, Shita, for bringing that out. Yeah, earlier it was brought up that our population went up to 410,000, I believe. So with that, how many of those people attend meetings? I mean, that it'll be great if majority of them would attend our meetings, and we, like right now, presidential candidates is part of their comment saying that we want to bring the youth home. And for all this reason that the virtual meeting should be funded for all the chapters and better equipment.
And just want to provide another quick comment on that. We did have several community members who were like one in Alaska, a couple of them were in Massachusetts, and they attended our meetings, and they're still valid, you know, registered voters. And so it's kind of it's still awesome that we have our own community members still being actively involved and wanting to participate in local governments. So I think this needs to just be really looked at and really funded. And I do agree, it should have just right off the bat, we should have just went with this. But thank you.
Any response,
Yes.
Pro Yellow Man?
Yeah, Nana. No, thank you very much for the recommendations. I will work and see what I can do to hear if there's more similar concerns like that from the other ASC sites, and see what we can do to provide those additional resources to the chapters. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Shema. Somebody was getting on the question. Who was that? All I saw was a phone number.
Yes, HK should not mind Nana dollars in there yet. Additional from Altago.
Oh, Sue, you have the floor.
Yeah, although that's all the get comes on, yeah. Those two chapters that are out of funding, ADG, because look for funding, no. I call the rest of the Western agencies, space on the continent, they have called space of the London, those two chapters, yeah, I don't, I think the cousin saw nothing happening use but nothing all you allowed that the base kids at all even how cost beyond your in the dozen call urgency we're not out of funding for Aljago chapter and our base social what's in the bed London age on puppet not or nation song it then the additional all that they of course obligate the console additionally that they casual I guess explain for those that are not out of funding yet. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Shema, Dr. Pearl Yellowman, do you have a response?
Yeah, no, yeah, thank you for the question. It kind of was cutting in and out on my end, Jay. I'm driving towards Tuba City. Like I mentioned, we are going over the chapters in Western Agency, and we are working with the potential sponsor, Delegate Walker, on that legislation to address the shortfall. So we're not done yet. We still have to put those final numbers together. The original shortfall was 89,000. So we're making sure that we are packaging the accurate number for Western Agency. So I hope I heard what you were asking and that satisfies that question. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Well, here indeed, Shema, for your report and taking the time to answer our questions and our concerns. I don't doubt Mr. Calvin Sosi here. So with that, thank you for your time. And thank you for your questions and your concerns. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda. That's C, Region Road Projects and Updates, Navajo Nation Department of Transportation, Mr. Garrett Silversmith, Division Director. Are you with us? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Moving on down to D, Public Safety Region Update, Navajo Division of Public Safety, Mr. Jesse Delamar, Division Director. Are you with us? Going once, twice, 3 times, no show. Moving on down to number 10, discussion issue concern. Please email written report to NOST Secretary, Mr. Roland Small Canyon, NOST Region Plan of Operation. Yeah, this thing's been on the agenda. This is my fault. I apologize for not working on this, but I want to schedule a date for a work session on this on July 16th, Saturday. Again, it can be virtual or it can be hybrid. Yeah, we need to put this on our plan of operation. We need to work on it. And basically, you know how the plan of operation works. It has to do with for most of us, it's for our stipends. So in our it involves with our quorum and our and who has the voting powers and things like that. You're all familiar with it. All the chapter officials should be familiar with that. So mark your calendars, July 16th, not Saturday. We'll start at 9 o'clock.
Motion.
Okay. Sir Robert, motion Ela.
Second.
Okay. Second by Madam Vice President Marcia Gray Eyes. Any questions or comments?
I think the dogs already approved it.
Okay.
Yeah, they usually don't bark. They were for this July 16th, I guess.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Chair, wait, I forgot. I'm going to a wedding that day.
Oh. Okay.
But we should be done by what, 5?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good. I should be there then.
Okay.
Chair,
Yes. Can you identify yourself, please?
Chair, this is Elsie.
Okay. Yes, you have the floor, Station.
Thanks again for giving me this time. I just wanted to double check on TBK's work session, I believe. When was that, Dellard? If that's coinciding with the weekend that NOST is planning for the plan of operation session. Thank you.
Could include
it. Topikin's work session is going to be the 25th to the 28th at Twin Arrows.
Can we join you?
As long as you guys paid the 29th.
You go. Okay. So
I can recommend it to Earl.
Can we put that in that one, right?
Okay.
Chair, can we also include the 086-22 on that day too?
Yeah, good idea, Shazelle. We can include that
Maybe,
too.
yeah, that would be good because I was gonna ask our delegate Shanella to see if he could host another. I think he's planning another one, Gaten, so. But I think that's after the council session, huh? Yeah. Council session's on the 18th, I think. Okay. Just saying, thank you.
Okay. Shadat Dillard, can you put that on the agenda? It'll be the last item on there after the work session. I mean, on the agenda, work plan of operation, then the 86-22.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments, colleagues? Then away, let's put the motion to vote. Mr. Secretary Treasurer, can you do the roll call vote, please?
Okay, the motion was to approve the work session on July 16th, 9 a.m. via virtual or a hybrid work session. Herman Daniels, Mr. Honorable Herman Daniels, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Thank you. Patricia Blackhorn, how do you vote?
I vote in favor.
Thank you. Ella Badani, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Russell Small Canyon, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Willis Begay, how do you vote? Jean Holiday, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Marietta Bedoni, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roland Small Canyon, no vote. And then Marsha Gray Eyes, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Robert Black, how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you very much. Chancey Notestein, how do you vote?
I vote green, please.
Thank you very much. Moving on down, myself, Dellard Curley, I vote in favor. With that, we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in favor with 1 abstention. Chair not voting.
Okay. With that, the motion carries. Let's move on down. So mark your calendars, July 16th. Like around 9 o'clock, we can start, or 8 as soon, if it's okay with everyone, I mean. Okay, with that, let's move on down to 11, resolution actions. 1, we don't have any resolutions, so number 1 and 2, we don't have anything. Moving on to number 12, next NOST Regional Council meeting, FY 2023, October 1st, 2022, hosted by Natsan chapter. So mark your calendar for that one too. And moving on down to number 13, adjournment. I'll need a motion.
Motion, Marcia.
Okay, motion.
Second.
I'll second that. This is Chancey Noticing.
Okay.
Second by Chancey Notestein. Any questions or comments?
Chair, I forgot to ask, is the meeting gonna be virtual for the plant operation?
It can be virtual or hybrid.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So to adjourn, we have a motion and a second. And any questions or comments before we go to vote?
A quick question, the work session, that's going to be, where's the potential location going to be that?
We'll make it at Ken Shanto's having sewer line issues, so the restroom's out of commission.
Okay.
With that, let's put the motion to vote. Mr. Curley, can you do the roll call vote to adjourn?
Okay, motioning to adjourn. Honorable Herman Daniels, how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you very much. Patricia Blackhorn, how do you vote?
I vote green. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ella Bedoni, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you very much. Russell Small Canyon, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you very much. Willis Begay, how do you vote? Okay. Jean Holiday, how do you vote?
I'm in favor.
Thank you. Marietta Bedoni, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you very much. Chair, not
Thank you.
voting. Marcia Gray Eyes, how do you vote? Okay, Robert Black, how do you vote?
In the affirmative.
Thank you very much.
Gray Eyes in favor as well.
Thank you, Marcia. Chancey Notestein, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Thank you very much. And myself, I will vote in favor. With that, we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in favor. I'm sorry, 10 in favor, 1 abstention.
Okay.
Hello?
The chair not voting.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? This is Will Gay. I vote in favor also. For chapter
Okay.
president.
Okay.
11 in favor, 1 in not voting.
Okay. Thank you, Shanatane, for joining the meeting, and thank you for your time. Arohia Shita Delek Curley for doing the agenda and doing the roll call vote, and you have another job that's not finished yet, that's producing the minutes. So I imagine people will be calling and for the minutes for their stipends. Aro Shitada, Delegate Daniels here for every. I know you have a continuous job. All the directors. Oh yeah, speaking of the directors, we need to put Shazad Robert Black Jr. on the agenda for Hopi Land Commission, the next NOST meeting. Per Navajo Nation president.
Okay.
Hello, have a good day, and you probably need to take your sheep out and check on your horses, check the cornfield.
I'm gonna hunt down Nez and see where he's at.
Go no.
Thank you. You guys have a wonderful day.
Oh, happy 4th of July.
Oh yeah. Be safe on the road.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.